Spongebob.
Welcome to the Spiggity Bang Bang and the Diggity Dang Dang.
It's the opening for a kind of 90s rap group inspired by SpongeBob.
We're here to bring forth the rhythm and the rhyme and the Spongebob and the Boys, which we are with This is Spongebob Boys. Welcome to the show.
Hello,
That's so
everyone.
awesome.
I'm Henry.
Hello, I'm Zooey.
You had to think about
And I'm
that. Is this
DJ
really Zooey?
Yeah.
Gus
I have 15
Zagarella.
different identities that are all across the United States right now. I'm on the run, but I had
You're
to
like
stop
Jason Bourne.
and do a SpongeBob Boys. I'm in a hotel right now
Exactly.
doing SpongeBob Boys on the run.
The
Had to drop
Bob
everything for it.
ultimatum.
Just the idea of like someone watching an episode of SpongeBob while they're like, like screwing silencers onto pistols and like sorting through their like 11 fake passports
Well,
is
that's what I'm
so
doing
funny
right
to
now.
me.
It's a thing that happens because I'm doing it right now.
Right, yeah.
It's
It
real.
keeps you grounded in your international espionages and whatnot. So yeah, you know the deal. This show, we take like random SpongeBob episodes and we recount them to each other like the nightmares and forgotten fever dreams that they are. And we all watch different ones.
Yeah, it's therapy, except it makes your mental health worse. Is everyone ready for me to begin? I've got a doozy to start us off with.
I guess so.
A big doozy.
Yeah, oh god, this will doos all over your house. So, my first episode is called
I'm opening my wine.
Cuddle E Hugs.
Cuddle
Mhm.
hugs.
Yes, which is cuddle, the letter E, and hugs. So, first Zooey, then Gus. One guess what you think this episode is about, and I will promise you, you will never get it.
Plushie Factory. Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka's SpongeBob ripoff cousin.
That is a safe and reasonable bet, but no. Gus.
Okay.
It's like Wile E. Coyote, but he's trying to be like wholesome and cozy, and he's Cuddle E Hugs.
No.
That's peaceful.
That is peaceful. You will find no peace here, I'm afraid.
Oh.
This this is a really weird one, even by SpongeBob standards. I messaged Gus before we were recording and said, this episode feels more like a Twilight Zone episode than the Tidal Zone episodes. And I will leave you to be the judge of that. So, this episode, like all good episodes, begins in the Krusty Krab. SpongeBob is cleaning a table, Squidward is there, and there is literally just a giant pile of trash next to them. But it's that specific,
Oh.
like, late SpongeBob trash where, like, it's mostly green goo.
Nickelodeon
That's
slime.
great. Also,
Character
I
for
love that
brand.
we have invoked the law of enter right off the bat of bad episodes begin in the Krusty Krabs. Maybe
I
the
thought you were
one
gonna
thing
say-
he's ever said that's correct.
Bad episodes start with green slime.
I mean...
No, because some good episodes have green slime in them too. We can't
Nah.
judge the green slime.
And the
That's
walls
too
will
harsh.
ooze green slime.
They always do that.
So I think that at least
cool.
gives a canon explanation. But anyway, SpongeBob, as usual, is taking so much joy in doing this, while Squidward is like, this is horrible and filthy. And SpongeBob is like, oh, I don't know what I love more, making food for the customers or cleaning up after them when they go. And Patrick is in the giant pile of garbage, eating it. I just felt like I'd give you that information. It has no bearing on the plot of this episode, but he's there. He's
We could
gross.
have kept that out, Henry. We could.
I know, but I had to see it, so you had to
Thank
hear
you.
it.
Thanks.
This is the
feel
cycle of
like-
abuse.
I feel like Mr. Krabs could like employ Patrick as like the garbage disposal unit and like not have to pay the city anything for like garbage pickup or recycle or all of that.
It's
Smart.
true, but is it worth what Patrick inside your restaurant risks happening, as we've seen in other episodes?
I mean, we've seen a lot happen in the Krusty Krab.
Oh,
Nothing could phase the people of Bikini Bottom anymore, but somehow it always does.
Wait. Anyway, so SpongeBob, in the process of doing this, finds loads of dried up gum under the table and cleans it all off with the spatula that he uses to prepare food. I have thought about killing myself, and all of it hits Squidward at great speeds, going into his mouth. He's like chokes and screams out a bubble before falling backwards into the pile of garbage, collapsing it and, like, spewing rotten trash all over the restaurant.
Henry, I feel like you're just
Okay.
describing the average modern SpongeBob episode. Like, this feels like a stereotype of like what the show's become, of just like liquids in unnecessary gross asides.
What?
It just happens to take place in the Krusty Krab.
It's like a metaphor. It's like a regurgitation of all the old things, of all the old SpongeBob.
Yeah, the big pile of garbage represents the big pile of garbage that the show has become.
It's just, that's what a metaphor is. It's just literal now.
I feel like modern SpongeBob episodes like legally count as necrophilia. I'm just gonna put that out there. Anyway, so from that note, back to Cuddle E-Hogs,
Yeah,
which is what
what's the cuddling?
You're not ready, as is typical for SpongeBob. So anyway, SpongeBob
Right, yeah,
falls
that's the
next
model of the
to-
show.
He falls next to a rotten Krabby Patty and is like, oh, we should throw this on the trash. It's like covered in mold and slime, and not unlike either the Nasty Patty or that like dried up hockey puck of a patty that almost killed Mr. Krabs several seasons earlier and sent him to Davy Jones' locker. But as Squidward is trying to throw out the rotten patty, SpongeBob is like, Squidward's like, no, it's a crime to throw away a Krabby Patty. It's always good. Which sucks, because that was the opposite position he was taking in some of the previous episodes of this nature.
Like, it feels like we've been down this road before, but through a funhouse mirror. Like, this is the third in a trilogy that we didn't know was a trilogy that ultimately, like, ruins it.
Yeah, it's the third in the trilogy of slowly turning a Krabby Patty from the food that we all wished we could try in our childhood and were mad that was fake, to something that causes bile to rise up in your throat when you hear the words settle out.
We're learning about our mortality through the lens of learning that food, even cartoon food, will spoil one day.
Dude, I want to go to the chum bucket. It makes you want to go to the chum bucket instead. You think Patrick is like writing these new episodes? You think he's like real now? You think he's like behind the scenes?
He's
like,
developed sentience?
I will make... Yeah, the show's been going on for so long that I think it's like, it did something. I don't know. And he's sitting there behind the behind the counter. Oh, God, I really am entrenched in food service.
And then they drink cheese
Get
coffee.
me out of here! Anyway, he's writing these episodes. He's like, I will make Krabby Patty so vile, filled with so much bile. I'm Dr. Seuss. That I will fill it with so disgusting mush.
Oh, wait,
everyone
did
will
you
wanna
mean
eat at the chum bucket.
Bars.
Did you mean plankton? Because you said Patrick. This is chaos.
You know what? We're full of plot twists.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, and that's
Why
the
not?
latest plot twist, that Patrick is actually being paid behind the scenes by Plankton to be as disgusting
never
as
stopped
possible in
working.
the Krabby
It's real.
Patty.
Yeah.
He never stopped working for the Chum Bucket since the Olympics sports
What?
episode that
That's
I forget
so
the
wise.
name of.
So wise. See, we're wise.
Wise
Sagely,
is such an
even.
interesting word for that. I think that was in the Nickelodeon Giga Leaks. It was between, like, you know, hush money payouts and, like, Epstein ties. Was they genetically engineered a real Patrick that just exists?
Guys, we have
and
gone
works?
so far off the rails so quickly.
You know that Doctor Who episode that just came out with the cartoon character who like becomes real?
That's him. That's
No,
Patrick.
because
and Tumblr has like their new sexy man, like they have their new onceler. Like that's what's happening.
I don't watch recent relevant shows. I watch SpongeBob.
Why? I just like to peruse the Tumblr section.
So this is actually all weirdly relevant. So SpongeBob does take
Okay.
a bite out of this repulsive Krabby Patty and becomes very ill immediately. And Squidward, who is amused, is like, "Why don't you take another bite, SpongeBob?" And he's like, "I need some fresh air." And he runs outside the Krabby Patty. The Krabby Patty. He runs outside the Krusty Krab.
The Krusty Krab.
And around the back of the store, he sees a giant 10-foot tall hamster with a bow tie and a little hat.
You know what?
No, he
you.
doesn't.
This is Cuddle E Hugs. And just so you can picture it, I already in advance saved a picture of him. You guys need to see this. I think you in particular, Zooey, will feel strongly about Cuddle E Hugs. This is
What
him.
way? Good or bad?
Well, we'll
All
see.
right.
That's for you to find out.
Oh, thank you. I love surprises.
Why is it taking such a comically long amount of time to load?
Because I'm putting all my psychic brain power into not letting you see
We're
picture of
repelling
either
it.
one of us.
Ba 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 ba
Not letting it
ba.
happen.
It's literally.
Ba, ba, ba,
Oh, there he
ba.
is. There he is. You're psychic barrier.
No!
That's Cuddle
Jesus.
E Hugs.
No.
He's wow. What is he doing in SpongeBob?
I know, right?
Why is he here?
Okay.
Who are you?
Eyelashes, petite and sweet. Blush.
Yes, it's true.
They're
Cute.
SpongeBob's
this is like-
eyelashes.
This is like something like, look, I like the weird, cute stuff, okay? I like the whimsical nature, but I don't like Garten of Banban, and this feels like it would have been in Garten of Banban.
This does have
Well,
big Ban
you
Ban
know-
energy. Oh no, Cuddle E Hugs is on the Givanium again.
Yeah, like I don't want to judge this too harshly because we don't know anything about him and what his agenda is, but I do not like his like bow tie that is bolted into his flesh right at the top of his tum-tum.
Yeah,
You know what,
and
you know what, Gus? It's okay to judge people sometimes right off the bat, and I hate this guy. And I don't like him at all.
All right, yeah, you know what?
life
First
advice
impression,
from Zooey LeFou. Sometimes it is
First-
okay to judge a book by its cover.
yeah,
It's okay to
yeah.
hate
According
people
to
without even speaking to them. I hate this guy.
Yeah.
I hate him so much.
quote Zooey LeFou, first impression, only impression. Fuck this dude.
Okay, so
What a
Cuddle E
loser.
Hugs. Here are some things you need to know about him. He is voiced by actor and stand-up comedian Jeff Garlin, who was in Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was the captain in WALL-E. He's been in a bunch of Pixar stuff. So quite a distinctive voice. And Gus, I'm sorry to tell you that his tom-tom, as you put it, is extremely relevant in a very Bora Bora honeymoon fashion, which we'll get into shortly. I'm immediately picturing...
I'm going to the Shadow Realm.
I think the second I said that, half of our audience did the whole like Calvin Candy from Django Unchained. You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. And I'm going to abuse having that attention.
Welcome to the filth zone, everybody.
Oh, yeah. So Cuddle E Hugs is like, hey, I'm Cuddle E Hugs, SpongeBob. I'm your new best friend. Don't you want to grab my tummy? And he does. And it is extremely like fuzzy and squishy. And SpongeBob is very much taking this in stride. He's like, okay, this seems like a cool guy. This is my new best friend now. I'm going to take him home with me. So he does take him home with him. And
this doesn't have, Henry, I just need to say, this really doesn't have real episode of the show SpongeBob SquarePants energy. It does not.
But you've
It does
seen
not
him.
have
I
that.
didn't draw that.
You guys,
You have looked
You
upon
could-
Cuddle
you could-
E Hugs.
You could have gotten Meg to do that.
you
This
guys
could be a
know-
fake episode. It's happened
like-
before.
You know how like the time 11:11 is like normally the sign of the people think it's like the sign of the angels. It's 11:11 right now, and I really feel anything but Henry. I really
It
feel
is.
anything but an angelic, beautiful aura.
God dang. I looked over at my own clock and I'm like, I'm in the Zooey time zone. So it's true.
That's the thing.
I'm right next to you. We're in the same room.
For you guys,
Wow.
it's 11:11.
New Jersey suddenly, or wherever you are, suddenly got very close.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's 11:11 for you guys, but it's less the like Make a Wish, and it's more like the Tethered from Jordan Peele's Us are gonna try and rise up and take over the
I'm making-
country. 11:11,
I'm making a wish to be free from this.
and I'm
That's
going
my
to
wish.
deny that wish. So
Oh, thank
Cuddle E
you.
Hugs.
That's awesome.
But they come back in, and SpongeBob is like, "Why don't you share my bed with me tonight, Cuddle E Hugs?" Both of-
I'm I have the katana inches from my belly. For the honor of my nation, I
So-
must.
When you said he was taking him home, I didn't mean like that.
Yeah.
It was like that.
Whoa!
SpongeBob goes up to Cuddly Hugs and it's like, okay, buddy, how much? Like pulling out the billfold, counting out some like 20s of Mr. Krabs' wacky bucks. So
Yeah, this is
Cuddly
this is beyond
Hugs
the pale.
lays on SpongeBob's bed, and I cannot stress enough, he is huge. If we are to, transpose human sizes onto the SpongeBob characters, I think SpongeBob is maybe like 5'5", Squidward is 5'10". Like, Cuddly Hugs is like Lady Dimitrescu, like 8 or 9 feet tall. He's a big boy.
It's like a fucking like Pinterest like mattress BF, very big, cuddly,
Yeah,
likes to sleep, always there for
Snorlax.
you.
He's got Snorlax energy. is
Big
how I'd put
Snorlax
it.
energy. Yeah.
Totoro.
How
You-
does
yeah.
wait? Okay. Hold on, just a second. Like, not that any of this makes any sense, but where the fuck is this dude's oxygen helmet? Because he's a land mammal like Sandy Cheeks is.
Wait.
How can he breathe down here?
Wait. So, Cuddly Hugs
What do you
lays
mean,
on
wait?
SpongeBob's
That
bed
That can't
and
be relevant.
completely crushes SpongeBob's bed. And SpongeBob is like, oh no, my bed is gone. And Cuddly Hugs is like, no,
Oh,
I've
no,
got a
Cuddly
new bed for
Hugs,
you
you-
right here. And grabs handfuls of his, like, stomach fat to emphasize its quality as a bed. See what I mean? The Bora Bora comparisons?
I'm so mad. I'm angry at this. I don't like this is like I'm pushing it down.
Speaking of pushing
I'm
it down, SpongeBob
Shut.
leaps on and is like, oh yeah, and is like rubbing his way, and he makes like cat noises and then falls asleep. And then SpongeBob wakes up
My God.
the next morning on like a bare mattress in his bedroom.
What?
And is like, what happened that night? And then Cuddly Hugs is there and is like, hey, it was so fun to spend time with you. Like, I'm your new best friend, Cuddly Hugs. And SpongeBob is like, I'm going to introduce you to all of my other friends. And he goes out
Don't
like-
do that, SpongeBob.
to like run
Don't
into...
do it, please.
He runs into Squidward first. And he's out there and he's like
Oh.
he's like, oh, Squidward, meet my new friends. My new friend, Cuddly Hugs. And Squidward's just like, what are you talking about? I need to get to work. And walks off. Then, Patrick turns up. And he's like, meet my new best friend, Cuddly Hugs. And Patrick is like, oh, I thought I was your best friend. And he's like, no, you are my best friend, but Cuddly Hugs is also my best friend. And I can love both of you. And Patrick goes, no, I want all of your love, and runs away crying.
Wow.
Read into that what you will. To Trouble in Paradise for SpongeBob and Patrick.
Many have.
Then Sandy turns up, and SpongeBob is like cuddling Mr. Hugs. Cuddly Hugs. I guess he is technically Mr. Hugs. If you were to be formal with him, please,
Yeah,
Mr. Hugs
I
was my
suppose.
father's name.
Mr. Hugs.
But this is me going the sort of Chris Hansen, Mr. Hugs. Why don't you take a seat over there? I hear you've been having very inappropriate contact with SpongeBob SquarePants.
And by take a seat, I mean become the chair as you crush it and then fold
Then
yourself into the shape
replace it.
of a reclining furniture. Yeah.
But the thing is, we get a shot
Awful.
from Sandy's perspective, and SpongeBob is just rubbing his face against the empty air. Cuddle Hugs exists purely in SpongeBob's head after he ate
Oh
that
my
rotten
God.
Krabby Patty.
Oh my God.
So is this gonna be like Cuddly Uggs like get SpongeBob to start like Project Mayhem in Bikini Bottom?
Basically!
I have never seen this movie.
Fight Club
Is it
or...
anything?
You
Is this
should.
anything like Donnie Darko? Doesn't he have a rabbit?
It's true, but
rabbit?
there's
I
more
mean,
like multi-dimensional.
if
Donnie
you-
Darko is a hard movie to explain.
It's
All I know is that Mad World is in it, and Postmodern Jukebox had a cover and a clown sang it, and that's all I know.
Donnie Darko is a fascinating movie. I rewatched it this year, but I also have distinctive memories of like trying to get really deep into its lore to like impress the like upperclassmen in my high school. So like I do recommend watching the movie, but like I have to say, as a Donnie Darko expert, this has some similarities, but not the glaring ones that you would expect of like a whole plot reference.
It's true.
Interesting.
So,
thank you.
Also, comment down below if you'd like us to get Zooey to watch Donnie Darko for a Patreon. I feel like that'd be a fun discussion. That'd be a good Zooey and Gus Patreon. $1 a month.
Oh, please. That would be awesome.
So, anyway, back to Cuddly Hugs. SpongeBob realizes this, especially after Sandy tries to humor him, and it's like, oh, I get it. He's your imaginary friend. And when it's looking like Cuddly Hugs is starting to disappear, SpongeBob needs like another hit of like the rotten Krabby Patty, so he takes another bite. It's almost a kind of like
That's
drug
awful.
metaphor. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
And he goes to the Krusty Krab, and he's like inconsolable about all this. And Cuddly Hug is like, "Hey, SpongeBob, I've got an idea. Maybe all of your friends can see me and like be my friend as well if you give them a taste of the magic Krabby Patty." And SpongeBob is like, "That's a great idea," and they start laughing together. But Cuddly Hugs' laugh is weirdly sinister in this moment.
SpongeBob becomes a like metaphorical drug dealer in order to give everyone the gift of the weird like lay on my belly hamster man.
Breaking Bob wheeled its ugly head again. What was that, Zoe?
Yeah, you know what? My judgment was right. My advice is right. Judge people by their cover. If you were in SpongeBob's position and you saw this stupid thing and you went, "No, not dealing with that. You look stupid and I hate you," none of this would have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you gotta trust your intuition.
SpongeBob is just like, "Fuck this. I'm gonna go get my stomach pumped at the nearby hospital."
Yeah.
To get over this food poisoning.
But instead of that, we got the moment where he became Heisenbob.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So SpongeBob thinks this is a great idea from Cuddle Hugs. So he chops up the rotten Krabby Patty and sets up a stand in the Krusty Krab and Squidward's on break in this scene. This will be relevant later. He sets up a stand and is like, "Hey everyone, free aged Krabby Patty samples for anyone who would like them." And they all...
How is Mr. Krabs not shutting this down immediately?
As though Mr. Krabs hasn't just served filth in this place before.
No, you're right. No, you're right. I was assuming for a second that Krabs' position had also, like, inverted the way SpongeBob had on, like, aged Krabby Patties.
Well, he could capitalize on this. It's like fine wine. You know, people go to wine tasting.
It's artisanal.
Right?
You'll pay.
Artisanal, slightly moldy Krabby Patty.
Maybe people will just pay to spend time with Cuddly Hugs, and the rotten Krabby Patty is the gateway to this experience.
I mean, you were talking about, like, SpongeBob setting up a stand, but I think Cuddly Hugs is his stand in a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure sense.
Here's the thing. Not quite, because Cuddly Hugs, as you're about to find out, has had some ulterior motives all along for this whole thing.
Is he... Wait, is he a monkey bone?
That's the thing.
Is he a, like...
I was gonna say, is
he from the other side?
This is less like JoJo stands and more like Bill Cipher and Ford from Gravity Falls kind of deal of like what they have going on.
Henry, you can't bring this to the first episode of a SpongeBob Boys.
I told you I'd start it
How are we
strong.
gonna top this?
Okay.
This is toxic,
Oh my
this is
God.
toxic yaoi.
Oh yeah, no, and wait, so
It is!
they all start eating
The fabled toxic Yowie.
and they can all see him, and they're not all having their own, it's individual hallucinations here. This is Zooey, you know French. What's 20 in French?
Oh, dude. I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep. Don't
Never
ask.
mind. Okay, so they are dealing with fully everyone in the Krusty Krab. They are in a shared reality that they are.
Oh, no.
They are seeing Cuddly Hugs. He is both Moromi and Little Slugger. He's right there, and Mr. Krabs comes out and is like, "What's going on in
Terrifying.
here?" And SpongeBob shoves a piece of the patty into his mouth, and he sees Cuddly Hugs, and immediately becomes very warped and stretched in his animation. And he's like, "Oh, I need to cuddle him," and like leaps onto him and starts like rubbing against his body. And then,
Bad.
and
Awful.
then, Cuddle E Hugs makes this face at SpongeBob.
Oh my god, he's really cute.
That's not exactly
Actually-
my reaction.
See, my first judgment of this guy is that I like him quite a bit.
I think that says
should show me
everything
this
you need
picture
to say
first.
about Zooey's sensibilities aesthetically. Like, so
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the mechanics of what any of this is.
wait. So he begins to eat everyone at the
I've
Krusty
been
Krab.
waiting.
Oh, it is Bora Bora.
Yeah, it is. It fully is. It
oh.
is.
It's literally just Bora
Wow.
Bora.
They are.
That's the
They are.
honeymoon, yeah.
As Meg once said, they are going on an amazing voyage right now. He is eating all of the fish, including SpongeBob, who is like, "I thought we were friends," and we get like a very detailed thing of him dropping into the like painted exterior of Cuddly Hugs' mouth. And Squidward walks in midway through this. He's not had a piece of the sandwich, so he's just seeing all these people writhing in a pile that they've thrown themselves into, imagining they've been eaten by Cuddly Hugs.
Not writhing in a pile. Not like that. Not like any of this. Not this.
It is a nightmare. It is so bizarre. Did you see what I mean about this is more like a Twilight Zone episode than they're specifically like Twilight Zone branded episodes?
Yeah, but also, like,
Yeah.
crucially, this feels like this could have happened to anyone. Like, this feels like an outside, intrusive, malignant, like, entity intruding upon just SpongeBob of all cartoons. This could have happened to, like, any show and any set of characters.
No, it's true. Cuddly Hugs could appear anywhere at any time. So after he's eaten everyone, it like cuts to the next morning where the sandwich has worn off. And, like, everyone leaves, and SpongeBob is like... And again, it's this weird, like, kind of drug thing. SpongeBob is like, "I don't know why he acted like that last night. He was so good before. I'll have another piece of the Krabby Patty and find out."
No.
So he bites a piece.
Don't do that.
And Cuddly Hugs remanifests and is like, "Hey, that was a great time last night, eh, bro?" He says, "bro." And like kind of is like bumping SpongeBob with his elbow. And SpongeBob is like, "Why did you do that? Why did you eat all of those nice people?" And he goes, "Oh, SpongeBob, don't you know what the E in Cuddle E Hug stands for? It stands for eat, because I'm always hungry." I'm not making this up. I swear to God.
Okay, you know
frowning.
what?
Sorry,
I don't
Zooey
even-
say I'm frowning. It's got me.
I feel like I don't even need to say it. I feel like I don't even need to, but
She's on
you know,
screen.
she's gonna be pissed. She's gonna
Yeah.
be pissed at us
Oh.
once again.
So, and then the episode ends in some. Again, I'm sorry to bring up the. I'm not. I swear, I'm not just bringing up the Gravity Falls comparison to Panda to Zooey in this. It does feel warranted
Yes.
in a very similar like thing to like going into Stan's mind to defeat Bill Cipher. SpongeBob is like, "Oh, you're always hungry? Well, I'll give you some of this." And he puts a piece of the rotten patty into Cuddly Hugs' mouth. And
What are we doing?
Cuddly Hugs...
Metaphysically, what does this mean?
Cuddly Hugs is like, no, you can't do that. And he starts to, like, react physically in the same way everyone else does when they have a bite of this. And then it cuts to Cuddly Hugs is a live-action hamster in a cage in a live-action room full of SpongeBob merchandise. And he's just like, oh, nuts. And the episode ends.
What?
Okay. Awesome.
There's one of the...
Wait, so, like, when the SpongeBob characters hallucinate, a real hamster enters their world and can interact with them, but then when the hamster eats an imaginary Krabby Patty and hallucinates, he goes back to his regular reality?
That's the thing.
Which is actually maybe a hallucination. What is real? Nothing! Nothing's real.
Yeah, at the very end of the episode, SpongeBob gets out a little spinning top and spins it, and it cuts away to the dun 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 dun.
It's a regular...
before it falls over.
Yeah, it's a regular Strawberry Fields. Nothing is real.
My theory, by the way, before we move on to Zooey's episode, because I think the longer we linger on Cuddly Hugs, the more power he'll gain. My theory is that this whole episode is just Cuddly Hugs' imagination as a, like, terminally bored hamster in a cage who just has to look at SpongeBob and Patrick plushies all day, and probably, like, his, like, kid is in his room watching SpongeBob, and I think this fantasy is how he escapes, rather than it being the fantasy of any of the SpongeBob characters. Well, he probably just sits there looking through his bars, licking his salt lick, thinking, how I would love to devour them all and never hear this again.
That's terrifying, because to the SpongeBob characters, he is this, like, demon and otherworldly entity that, like, has infinite power over them in their moments of, like, most dark vulnerability. But in his reality, he's a prisoner. And he can only escape in his dreams.
I actually like that analysis.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take that headcanon as canon to make sense of things. Wouldn't it be easy? Wouldn't life be easy if you could just headcanon and make it real? That's so beautiful.
I think for the sake of our sanity, we do have to accept the headcanon here.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like that. Thanks.
Speaking, I'll tell you what, though. There is actually something where the three of us and some others do have the power to make our headcanons real in. And,
Whoa! Yes!
And it's
Brilliant.
our own shows. So we've been wanting to bring Zooey back for one of these for a while because we love that first one. I'm still haunted by the fact that there is such a body count in Escape from Underneath Glove World. That's a bizarre episode.
Oh, yeah.
But the specific date of why we've released this one is that it will be roughly, like, concurrent with the release of Kill Jam XXX Episode 5. Zooey, why is that release significant to you in particular?
Because I may or may not be in it, Henry and Gus. I may or may not be doing some voice acting work for said series that is online, that is easily accessible for you to access, and you should be watching or bad things will happen, and I will send you a Krabby Patty.
I will say...
Yeah.
Though I will say that, like, dehydrated Marlon Brando impression you were doing is not the voice you do in the show. You're voicing, You're voicing Bellamy Pink, who you guys have seen on our Kill Jam podcatcher logo, and who is a businessman who also wants to, sponsor Faustina in her rise back to the top after her tragic fall.
Yeah, there's a good chance that if you're watching this, you've already heard us talk about Kill Jam in another video. It's a audio drama about the crazy world of future blood sports where women with superpowers and cybernetic enhancements kill each other for fame and glory. It's on Spotify, it's here on YouTube, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Podbean if you're nasty. And you can find our socials all over the place as well, just by typing in killjamxxx.com. That is killjamxxx.com. And if you would like to hear Zooey play everything from a horrible, like, demonic child with psychic powers to a tassel worm in another kind of drug hallucination, you should also check out the Kingmaker Histories, which is Meg's audio drama, a deranged, fantastical period piece, which I would venture to say has more head explosions than the average fantasy.
Oh, absolutely. Like, take the beginning of Scanners and multiply that over 3 seasons by a lot.
That's just what the main character... Gus, the way you said that had such Tim Robinson energy. We think of the little character called Carl Havoc. Carl, there's a lot, to say the least.
Listen, Henry. I have seen a first-hand example of the power of visualization very recently, and I need to,
I used to be a real piece
I'm
of
just
shit.
giving back to the universe what's given to me.
Yeah.
So-
These shows have so much love put into them. Really, please check them out. If you're a fan of podcasts, if you are not particularly into podcasts but want to get into listening to podcasts, please listen. So much love is put into this in both of them. And a lot of people that I care deeply about are involved. So it would mean a lot if you would check them both out.
Like, in complete sincerity,
Absolutely.
they are absolute labors of love, and what I'm really excited for is I believe in the not too distant future, I'm not going to share any spoilers in here, but both Gus and Zooey have their own currently in the like planning and writing stages projects as well, which are going to be part of the kind of Warner family of audio shows that I'm tremendously excited about. Can't wait to talk about. They're going to be really good. But in the meantime, yes, please do check out KillJam and the Kingmaker Histories, wherever you get your audio dramas. That is your one cup of water before we go back to the desert that is modern SpongeBob. Thank you for listening.
Which
Zooey.
is
What was that, Gus?
Which is deeply ironic because the show takes place underwater.
But not drinkable water. Crucially, it is salt water.
Yeah, it's the water that will drive you. It will give you the flapjack and Knuckles madness.
Water
is what it will
everywhere
do.
and not a drop to drink. Okay, Zooey, what's your first
Yeah.
episode?
All right, so I've decided I'm gonna do them in chronological order because I follow the rules and I'm nice and sweet and kind. So my first episode was called Smartificial Intelligence.
Oh no, it's topical.
I know it's very pressing in these pressing times. So this episode.
We're pressing buttons here.
So yeah, the only button that will not be pressed is the button to enact ChatGPT.
Yeah, we're all very fuck AI here. I think that's very clear from the way we talk.
Exactly. The official SpongeBob Boyz stance is fuck AI.
Yeah. and I'm gonna Demon Zooey.
Demon Zooey.
I'm just gonna assume, Zooey, that this is an episode that is about the horrors of AI, as shown by like Patrick repeatedly gooning to janky mid-journey anime girls under his rock.
Oh no! Don't eat an expired Krabby Patty, or either Cuddle Hugs, Gooner Patrick, or Demon Zooey will come for you.
So I feel like this episode is also topical to the last one that we so graciously discussed. Thank you, Henry, for that. So basically, and here's the reason why, because the episode starts out this way. So again, Smartificial Intelligence. So SpongeBob, our titular character, of course, settles in to watch the news.
I think you're stalling, Zooey. SpongeBob, our titular character, introduced in 1997, played by Tom Kenny.
The series was created by Steven Hillenburg, who used his background in marine biology to imbue the show with a sense of authentic...
I hate you all. Anyway, SpongeBob settles in to watch the news. In my notes, I don't know why I wrote this. I wrote, SpongeBob settles in to watch the news. I am so tired. His watch... his watch says BBN. Like
Big,
bikini bottom
beautiful
movies, but
number.
Yeah, I was so tired. I legitimately thought it said BBW. Why I'm saying this topical.
It's just SpongeBob watching Bora Bora Honeymoon on TV, then quickly turns it over when Gary comes in.
Yeah, he's like
that. It
he's
looks
just
like
like-
that.
wow, sharks sure are interesting, right, Gary? I mean, never mind, football.
So
I love sports.
So he's watching the news. On the news, Sandy gets stuck in a well for some reason. And they're
Oh,
like,
no.
oh god, the squirrel is in the well. And a huge cylindrical robot comes out of nowhere, sits on top of the well, and shoots Sandy up its ass and out its head into the sky, and she's free.
What?
I don't know why that
We're-
was included.
wow,
I really
yeah,
don't- I don't
okay.
know. It was a robot. I guess that's why.
Did
they
Sandy
included it. I
invent
This
don't
is-
know. No.
Is this? This feels like the Elon Musk robot that couldn't save those kids,
Yeah.
and then he was like, "You guys are weird that you're concerned so much about children, huh? Maybe you sit down over here."
Yeah, no, it's insane. Okay, so what happens then?
Yeah.
I'm fascinated already. I'm gripped.
I'm so glad. So anyway, then the news reporter, it cuts back to him, and he is told live on air that he is being fired and replaced by Newsbot 2000, the AI replacement of him. It doesn't really look like him. He just has a big smile, and he rips off his hair and uses it as like a toupee. And he basically, this news
Jeez.
reporter, listen, again, topical, listen to Kill Jam Triple X, a
Yeah.
little bit of a spoiler if you want to skip ahead, not really, because this is in the first 2 episodes. So basically, the news reporter gets ejected just like Faustina Fettamine, fired from the facility, kicked out of the building. They take
Oh,
his
wow.
hair, they take all of his belongings, and they leave him with nothing but a cardboard box. So yeah.
It's all
Um,
it's some kind of big metaphor for metaphors.
I know, it's crazy. I love metaphors. So they...
I love
Yes.
meaning.
I hate this. So a robot... So, wait, let me read. What do I have?
I find myself asking myself that a lot, just in different
What do I have?
situations. What do I have?
Me
What is
reaching into my
this? Yeah.
pockets. I'm like walking
What do
into
I
my-
have?
While
I'm,
Zoe
like,
is
walking
reading
up to the
this,
train station. What do
What
I
is
have?
left?
I have to tell you guys this story real quick while Zoe quickly goes over their notes. I went.
Okay,
This sounds so made up, but it really happened. I went to the supermarket once just to buy a drink. I went to like the self-service checkout, so where you can like tap the card, and I was pulling my wallet out, and I shit you not, an actual fucking moth fell out of my wallet.
No! That's stupid.
And that's how you
That's
know
like-
you're a writer
That's-
when that happens.
That's such a cliche.
I took a picture.
God.
Oh, that'll be on screen now, just so people believe me. Okay, so anyways, back to smart
Yeah.
artificial intelligence.
You gotta remember.
Anyway,
You
yeah,
have
sorry.
to remember to send me that moth.
Yeah. So SpongeBob goes, "Oh, a robot." That's my SpongeBob impression. A robot can never replace Perch in our hearts, says SpongeBob. And SpongeBob is anti-AI, and he
The
actively-
Perch Perkins?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Perch Perkins,
No, the
yeah.
Perch Perkins.
The
Perch
Perch
Perkins is
Perkins.
very talented. You
Yes,
cannot have an AI take his job.
Exactly, but
It's
the
an
world
outrage.
we live in is a sad and unfortunate place. So he's been kicked out, and SpongeBob.
And I'm outraged by it.
I know. And as anti-AI as SpongeBob is, he actively protests outside of the building to bring Perch back. Outside of like the news.
Based
building.
Bob, based
He
pants.
is. What a cool dude. He's remembered his like protesting and striking advice from Squidward in the.
I'm
would
so
exercise
glad that
caution.
he stuck with that.
I would exercise caution.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Don't put your faith
Oh
in a
no.
sponge. Okay.
Yeah.
So SpongeBob says, as he's, parading outside with like a little sign that's like anti-AI, and he turns around and he sees Perch Perkins, who looks very distressed. And he goes, "Perch, is that you?" Okay, I had to make a note of this. He says this in like Tom Kenny's SpongeBob voice, but he sounds like weirdly normal. Like he sounds like a normal man.
That happens sometimes. That's odd.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
I just had to point that out.
I mean, yeah, I think it's just a matter of Tom Kenny, like, he's been doing this for a very long time, and I imagine it must be difficult to like go into the specific SpongeBob voice every single time.
It wasn't that. And like I respect him and I understand for that, but it wasn't that. It was like he says it in like a tone of voice that's in the SpongeBob voice, but it does not sound like SpongeBob is saying it. Like he's very reserved.
Yeah, just a very normal tone. Interesting.
Yeah, very normal. He's normal. Anyway, this doesn't matter. This is irrelevant to the AI plot at hand. So SpongeBob,
Fair enough.
is like Perch is at you. They have a conversation. Perch is like, I'm unemployed, and the AI is taking my job, and I'm screwed, out of luck, whatever, yada yada. And SpongeBob is like, well, I have a plan. Let's. I don't know, we can get you back in there. And Perch is like, no! So he runs away, and SpongeBob goes to chase after him. But before chasing after him, SpongeBob pulls out a Patrick AI and says, take over the stand of my protest, Patrick AI.
What do you have that, SpongeBob?
Yeah, SpongeBob pulls out an AI Patrick to carry out his anti-AI protest, which must be very existential for this AI Patrick, I would assume.
Oh my god, to beat AI, you must become AI.
Oh my god, like, this is fucking Bikini Bottom become human right now.
Yeah, so SpongeBob chases Perch to this place called I don't remember, I don't care! Old Reports Row, where old reporters are sent to die, I guess. It's like they've been kicked out of their business, and they're like all like, they're in an alleyway, kind of like in Annie. In Annie, when they're like, "We like to thank you, Herbert." It's a hard, like they're like that. In the alley.
It's a hard knock life for them. A hard knock life for those.
So they're all kind of like huddled around, and then they all start asking like random questions because they have no career, but they're all crazy, and they just need they need their jobs back. So these are the three questions. This
is like. Yeah. I feel like this is like a darkly real commentary on like where a lot of journalists are like right now, just in the alley of madness, unable to like really break through all of the misinformation and AI replacement.
I will give you...
It's like, it's weird. This is one of the more recent SpongeBob episodes, right? Like this is like latest season?
Yes, it is. And I'll give you some levity. Like,
okay.
They do end it like at still anti-AI. So...
Good.
I don't know if it's intentional.
All right.
I love a happy ending.
Yeah. So anyway, the news reporters are asking each other crazy random questions. They're like shaking with like things that are supposed to be microphones that aren't, like Apple cores and stuff like that. I want to ask you guys these three questions because these were questions that were asked, and nobody got to answer them. I guess they were rhetorical for the show, but I want to ask you these questions. I'm a news reporter, and my phone is my microphone. So, do you trust your breakfast cereal? Yes or no?
I don't often have. I have oatmeal usually.
That's a cereal, I think. Still. I think that counts, and I don't trust it.
Then I trust my oatmeal.
And that will be your downfall someday. Anyway, what's the next question?
We'll see, old man. Oatmeal's the new hotness.
Maybe King Neptune's head is too big? Why was no one asking that question?
Thank you. Gus, what about you?
I don't have a stance on King Neptune because I hate talking about politics.
Yeah. Got it. All right, moving on. Last question. Babies? For or against?
Get him out of here. No more.
We're
none of them ever again.
The growing antinatalist movement in
the
Bikini Bottom.
Exactly. Yeah. No more.
After those questions, my one bullet point after that is the pacing is so weird. And then it moves on to another bullet point. So SpongeBob takes an unemployed Perch to a supermarket because he realizes the alley is no place for Perch Perkins, and gets him a job as an announcer in the supermarket. So he starts doing like there's cheese on sale in aisle 5 or whatever, and he's doing a really good job.
That's kind of inventive, honestly, given that he's a guy who his presentation and his voice is like his career. And I actually like that as a joke. Like, conceptually, I think that makes sense. It's coherent.
Yeah, I like it. I like it too. And you won't like this though. So from there,
It was a matter of time.
What's the guy's name? It's not okay. Before you tell me who the guy was, who like I think it's. Oh no, I actually do know the name. I think it's Bubble Bass, right? With the pickles.
Yes.
Oh, Bubble Bass, infamous troublemaker, Bubble Bass.
We know him well.
I couldn't remember his name.
We know him too well.
So I wrote down in my notes, Big Mouth Billy Bass. And if anyone knows what that is,
Take me to the river. Put me in the water.
Drop me in the water. The water.
my grandma had one of those, and it was like my favorite thing ever. And I was like, "That's his name, right? Big Mouth Billy Bass."
Yeah,
like, that is not his
Bubble
name.
bad to the bone.
Yeah, I looked
Bad.
it up, like, that's not
Bad
it.
to the bone.
I think it shows that we
there.
all have old souls that we all immediately knew, you know?
So happy! I'm
Absolutely.
so happy! I'm unbelievably happy.
Banana. Banana.
So from there, I'm just gonna call him Big Mouth Billy Bass. He's there, and for some reason I don't know, and he spilled pickles all over the floor, and there's like it's all messy, and people are slipping and falling, and it's a big hoo-ha, and it sucks, right? And basically,
Oh no, not everyone's slipping and falling.
I know. Ah! So basically, Perkins was too busy like trying to interview Bubble Bass about why this happened or whatever, and he gets fired because instead of actually announcing cleanup on aisle so-and-so, he was too busy interviewing people, so he wasn't actually doing his job correctly. But I wrote this. They panned to a shot, like right after he said that he's like fired, right? They're like, "You're fired because you didn't say clean up on aisle 9. They pan to all the people who have like slipped and fell, and they're all in like a pile, and just out of nowhere, the one guy goes, "My pickled leg!"
Oh, they are running that joke into the ground.
Come on! Like, it used to be, like, this is like, if a movie had, like 40 Wilhelm screams in it, and they, like, kept remarking on, like, the Wilhelm scream as an existing concept.
Have you noticed that, like, SpongeBob becomes, like, Job Center Plus is just, like, a stock SpongeBob episode now? Because he was trying to help Squidward get a job when he got fired. He's trying to help Patrick get jobs. He's trying to help the clown get a job. And now he's trying to help fucking Coach Perkins get a job.
Dude, he's better than Indeed.com, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
He's better than Indeed.
Oh, for real. We want to, I mean, you know, let's put our American experiences aside and just keep talking about SpongeBob.
Sign up to the Patreon to hear us dish on Indeed and Monster.com and all those others.
Indeed, you should. Monster.com and Monster Safari, that's where it is. It's waiting for you.
So, Perch is fired again, so SpongeBob carts him over to the Krusty Krab, and gets him a job as a drive-thru announcer to take orders. But he immediately gets fired because he keeps talking to people and holding up the line instead of actually taking orders, which I give him credit for. I am not a front-of-house person. I am a back-of-houser all day long. So... I mean, I think he was kind
of... A real general manager Perch Perkins, eh, Henry?
Yes, it's true. Have we ever talked about that publicly? Now's not the time. Anyway, back to the back to the restaurant.
That scene's not very long. And basically from here, it's just a rapid fire run to the end. So they go back to the news network, and they beg for them to take Perk? Who's Perk? Perch back! They beg for him to take
Perchins.
Perkins, American restaurant chain. So they have a news. So basically, the only way they'll take him back is if he does a news off with his AI counterpart. So
news off?
So now they're doing.
Are they really doing John?
Yeah, they're doing John Henry.
They're doing John Henry,
but they're doing it again because they did SpongeBob versus the Patty Gadget. several seasons
You
ago
gotta
at this
they,
point.
they gotta stop doing John Henry. Do they like think that this is like the mythology of SpongeBob itself? Like,
I guess.
is that
know.
is there a thematic resonance between like the tale of John Henry?
It's about the
and
plight of the
SpongeBob
working man.
SquarePants? I guess. I guess so.
I guess. So they have their news off, and it's just, again, it's between Perch and AI Perch, and it's just a montage of, like, different things to report on. A lot of things are pretty unremarkable, actually, for a show that's, like, so... could be weird and batshit. Like, it's just like...
Come on, like...
Literacy
if they really
rates
wanted to, like, take...
drop, or whatever it was written on that paper that I...
If they wanted to take, like, a real stance, they could have, like, Perch Perkins, like, AI Perch Perkins say, like, oh, actually, like, battery acid is totally a medicine.
Oh, I thought...
And you should take it.
I thought you were going to say Perch wins in the end, because at a point, Robo-Perch just get obsessively talking about white genocide and the South African
He starts,
farm killing.
Exactly. He just, it's like, but more to the point, how does this affect the South African farmers who are white?
The song Kill the
As
Boars
poorly as
can
possible.
be seen as... like, AI is so
we got
stupid.
Grok. We got
exactly.
Grok
Yeah.
from what
That
I
is-
refuse
that
to
is
call
a-
X.
that is
com
a-
Twitter.
That is a very interesting piece of Has-Been Hotel fan art. However, unfortunately, the deaths of many white farmers in South Africa must be addressed.
Insane. Oh, okay, what happens next, Zoe?
So basically, yeah, there's a lot of like mundane stuff, and then they have a who keeps tipping over old ladies. Kind of like weird, like it's like cow tipping but old
Yeah,
ladies,
like,
and then they shoot.
do
Well, this
that.
was at the beginning. I like being unchronological. They shoot a cannonball through a huge manatee hot air balloon and say, "Oh, the huge manatee."
That's
And
pretty
just, like,
good.
start
I'll give him
moves
that.
off.
I'll give him
Yeah,
that.
you know what? I'm okay.
Yeah.
I accept
That
that.
is a classy
You gotta-
Hindenburg disaster
A little-
joke in SpongeBob SquarePants.
Exactly. Like,
And I
what
love
children
manatees.
are goofing on that? But I think it's fine. I love tragedies and laughing at them, so I'm good.
Quote that in the... If you've made it this far, Gus says, "I love tragedies, 2025.
Well,
Yeah,
we just
put
need
that,
me
put
to
that
say
in
something
your,
insane
put that
now.
in your,
Yeah, right,
put that in
I
your
love
scathing response
tragedies.
video
Yeah, no, that's
to
the thing.
SpongeBob Boys.
It's so far we've had Zoe say you should judge people by first appearances. Gus has been like, I love tragedies. I just need to say something insane toward the end of the episode, and we'll have the full trifecta. Okay, so after the huge manatee is destroyed, what occurs?
So the leg guy shows up again, and he falls off a cliff because there was like, basically they report about there's a bank robbery, again mundane, and then they report about how a bridge collapsed, and then the my leg guy falls off, and he goes, "My leg!" as he's still in the car. I hate this joke. So basically,
Multiple
from
times
there-
an episode. My God.
yeah. So from there,
No restraint.
I know, it switches back to regular Perch Perkins, and he goes, "But guys, nutty news I have." He doesn't say that, but I'm saying it. Nutty
Jeez.
news I have, I do.
It's
He
very
goes, "I have
Yoda.
nutty news.
Nutty news I have.
Nutty news I have. He goes, AI bot me has actually been orchestrating all of his news segments. He robbed the bank. He destroyed the bridge. He tipped
What?
old
Wait, they're-
ladies."
At the last second, they're deciding to, like, shattering glass this? What is
He's
going
like a robot
on?
super criminal.
Yeah. So basically, and I gotta be honest. I don't remember how it gets to this point, but the AI bot just freaks out and explodes.
As as would always happen. I guess like the fact that this episode began with like Sandy getting like rescued by a robot, and then we had like I feel like this is almost like someone wanted to do a topical episode but didn't know how much they could really say through the format of SpongeBob, so they just got weird with it.
It was actually adapted from an old Philip K. Dick short story, Smart Artificial Intelligence, and that explains a lot.
It was actually
Wow.
It was actually written by a new up-and-coming writer known as Chad GPT.
No!
Don't you'll summon demons.
No.
Did either
Please
of you guys...
keep my soul in my body.
I'm the AI hating demon.
The AI hating demon to me is like the same wheelhouse as when telemarketers call me. I will answer the phone and I'll answer the phone and I'll go,
I'm the Wicked Witch of the telemarketer, and every time you call, I place a curse.
That's pretty rad. I actually think that might brighten up some of their days.
Yeah, no, they probably enjoy that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's like that like a wizard in that like Norwegian country who like jumps behind counters in the middle of people's work days or something.
That's so funny. So that was Smart Artificial Intelligence.
that was it, yeah, because literally at the end, Perch gets unfired by the AI version of his old boss. And that's it. That's the end of the episode.
That's cool. I love when a plan comes together somewhat.
Yeah, I'd love for it to happen someday.
You want to hear exactly? So do you want to hear my first episode?
No, let's go.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
enthusiastic.
We got blood is thicker than grease.
I thought you were just gonna say that the title is Blood for a second.
Blood! You got the analog
Blood!
episode!
Yeah, it was a weird one. They all had hyper-realistic eyes, and everyone was like
A lot of
saying,
blood.
Oh my god! Yeah.
and they were
From
predicting the
eyes.
deaths of a bunch of celebrities in it.
Including
I
my
gotta
own.
say,
I don't know.
like in retrospect, I'm looking at this title and I'm like, this doesn't feel like it's like, like they should have maybe thought of a different title for this episode. But anyway, we persist. This episode it's a plankton focused episode. It begins in the chum bucket with Plankton. I don't know what Mr. Enter has to say about that, and I don't really care because Plankton is building a Tootsie Trampler, which is a giant foot on a pogo stick that he has a remote control, and he finally believes that he can be the stomper and not the stompee.
Aw, I thought it was a Tootsie Roll machine.
Yeah. I think maybe when he's done this, he's going to sell the rights to the currently under construction sock world and make millions
No!
from that.
No.
Oh, man. I thought you were going to say he's going to sell the rights to Quentin Tarantino.
He's gonna buy a giant gas pedal and make fetish videos of him pressing down on it with his giant fake foot.
Oh, God.
So, not to have any restraint, SpongeBob obviously has, like, as in the show, not the character, he's not present yet, but the thing malfunctions and just stomps Plankton into the ground and Karen has to rescue him because, of course, I would need to write this down at the beginning of an episode that has nothing to do with the Tootsie Trampler. Of course, this would be like the first minute of this episode because they just love to waste my time and make me feel like my life is meaningless.
It's just like my
That never
mother
comes
in
back,
that
by the
sense.
way. Yeah,
I'm kidding,
So
I
the
love
Tootsie
my
Trampler
mom.
never
Anyway.
comes back. Yeah, no, great.
We all
parents.
reveal to the
Honestly.
camera we've got those matching like mom heart tattoos on our shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, Sandy pulls it up. Wow.
Man, I wish Sandy would rip off a chunk of my flesh and then place it down in the exact spot.
But upside down.
Anyway, but upside down, exactly. But anyway, the real plot of this episode happens when, like, the doorbell of the chum bucket or, like, whatever, there's, like, some alarm or something. A chime happens, and Karen is like, hey, Plankton, stop playing with this dumb machine that has no relevance to anything, and go outside and meet whoever our fucking guests are, because that's the episode. Fuck.
Sorry, for the like that. It's so fucking funny. Plankton, go meet whoever our fucking guests are, you fuck.
Oh, Karen, this is worse than the time that I.
Yeah, why did I do such a lowest pilled voice? It's because I'm not a voice actor and Zooey's here. Alright, let's do this.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, Plankton goes outside and a car pulls up with a platinum trailer that is silver and chrome, the way that everything in the future of that one episode looked. It's very reflective. And out of this comes Plankton's parents from, you remember them from the episode where they helped out?
I actually thought we
with that
ever
one
saw
scheme?
We saw all of his cousins. I think Plankton's parents are new. And are they hillbillies like the rest of his family?
Yes, but they kind of Beverly Hillbillied it, and they got super rich, and that's why they have a platinum trailer, and they're moving into the big city, just like their good old Sheldon.
There's something so funny about someone striking rich, and they blow it all on a really expensive trailer.
Oh no, see that's the key joke here, is that they have poor people things but fancy. So they have a butler who's an octopus, and he presents to them a spittoon, a gold-plated spittoon with rubies and sapphires on it.
SpongeBob
and it's
writers
really
are
expensive.
so respectful of the lives of people who live in different ways to them. Have you noticed that? They're never
right?
all stereotypical or condescending to people with alternative lifestyle.
I mean, the gift of class consciousness will come through SpongeBob one day. We know this to be true.
It's true.
Here on Krabby Patty Tube. Anyway, the inside this golden trailer, they have in addition to the fancy spittoon, they have a tricked out fancy feeding trough for their pet Elmer, who is I don't even know what this is trying to be. It is, imagine a pig's head on a worm's body.
What?
And no, I'm not describing some kind of obscure Trevor Henderson photograph.
You're gonna say I'm not describing Elon Musk. A pig's head on a worm's body.
Yeah, Elmer Musk right over here with this. Yeah,
be very
exactly.
quiet. I'm stealing the U.S. government.
Oh, ooh.
Elmer Musk.
Oh, I smell bacon in here. I tell you what now.
Charlie's in here.
So,
it's the Charlie effect is happening again.
It's the Charlie effect. Exactly. Well, we can't. Yeah, exactly. We had to include all of our NBs at once. Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, after Plankton is tormented by his relatives, his parents, he has this line where he's like, "So what are you guys staying 7, 5, 3 minutes longer here in Bikini Bottom?"
That's pretty good.
I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, because I love when the characters admit that it's insufferable, everything we've been experiencing, to be consuming the show. I love when they are also on the same page of us on that.
Is this them? I'm sorry, I had to Google it because the concept was haunting me. Is this what Elmer looks like? That them?
Oh no! Oh,
is that them?
Yeah, he's one of those, but I didn't know that there was other ones.
Why are there
more? God!
Why
it's flooding back to me. I'm getting fucked up all over again. I'm losing my fucking mind.
For anyone who
triangle.
I guess that summons them for dinner time.
No,
oh
God, no.
For anyone who hasn't seen the excellent Gus and Charlie Mr. Beast video, it's giving big. It shouldn't be $500,000 to destroy it. Energy.
With no indication of where it came from, how it got to this point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this shouldn't be. Elmer shouldn't be. We're moving swiftly on because he only appears for 10 seconds, and it was the worst 10 seconds of my entire life.
I would rather relive the death of my first pet than see this thing again.
I'm sending a GIF in the chat so I don't have to keep looking at that image. Just so everyone knows, the GIF that I just sent is a GIF that's a SpongeBob plushie that's being ripped to shreds. Blood splatters the screen, and it says "Happy New Year's."
This is
You know what?
welcome to
It's-
You Have
it's
Zooey
on
on
screen.
Discord simulator. For anyone who ever wanted to live vicariously through us on that. Anyway.
Yes. So in a deeply unfortunate turn of events, Plankton's parents have moved into the big city permanently. They're living here in Bikini Bottom, and they are also going to start up their own restaurant called the Spud Bucket, which they spawn, they throw a cylinder into the air, and it explodes outward into a wooden chum bucket that sits right next to the regular chum bucket.
I feel really left out. Mine are the only episodes that don't have cylinders in them. You guys both got a cylinder.
Yeah, I got the robot.
Jeez, Zooey and Gus, your mom let you have 2 cylinders.
I have 2 cylinders.
I love cylinders.
That's so
shape.
funny. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, Plankton's torment continues as they go into this restaurant, and he is just like everything that could go wrong with a potato happens to him. He gets hit with potatoes. He gets potato juice splattered on him. He gets a potato pie to the face.
I can think of some other
there
things
is
that could go wrong with potatoes that probably won't be featured.
Careful. So there is also another hillbilly cousin of Plankton named Cousin Cletus who is working there, and horrifically he is mostly a cyclops like Plankton, but he has a secondary eye near the back of his head. So he has 2 eyes, but they're just, he really shouldn't have the second one. I don't know how else to put it.
I'm sorry to bring this up, but is this a hillbilly incest joke that he's a mutant?
I think
Are we
the thing
doing a
is,
bit of
I
a
don't
wrong
re-
turn, Deliverance, Hills Have Eyes type situation here?
Man, I was struggling to remember all 3 of the franchise, but thank goodness Henry Galley came in clutch, remembering every single hillbilly
I was
incest horror
thankfully able to
franchise.
just look above my laptop at all the posters, and it helped me remember them immediately.
This is why we keep you around, buddy.
Yes, that and no other reason. Proceed.
Oh God. So Plankton is horrified by potatoes, and he's like, this is a stupid idea for a restaurant. I'm out of here. And yet, somehow, the Spud Bucket opening is so immediately successful that every customer in the Krusty Krab comes over to get their share of potatoes. Everyone in Bikini Bottom is down on this, including Bubble Bass, who is in the Krusty Krab, and for some fucking reason framed as their ideal regular, which is so insane to me.
That
That's
is
baffling.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he leaves because he needs to get a starchy tuber because he's a nerd and he says nerd words and he says normal things in a nerdy way.
What was it? I demand caloric intake or something like that from the previous episode.
It's all just very base level. It seems like Bubble Bass might have, after this show got canceled, eaten and absorbed Jimmy Neutron's jokes. Because it's just the sodium chloride bit forever.
My brain is so fucked at this point. I've had a lot of coffee and we're doing a lot of SpongeBob, but my brain, that is you being about to say after Bubble Bass got cancer. And I was like, yeah, he really changed. Just something about the radiotherapy fucked with his brain.
I thought
Oh,
you meant
no.
after SpongeBob, the show got canceled.
It will never happen.
And I'm like, I don't think that's true.
This show will outlive all of us somehow.
It will be much like the Hindenburg thing. They'll have episodes coming out in 2060 and it'll be socially acceptable for them to reference 9/11.
Wow. Yeah, and you say that now, and it's it's still too soon, but someday I guess it won't be for SpongeBob.
Exactly, they'll wait. I'm biding our time.
Yeah.
Also, I have to quickly say, this is something you guys will find this funny, and there will never, ever, ever, ever in a million years be another opportunity for me to bring this up. So, there was an actual 37, and I'm really sorry about how many images we're going to put on the screen for this, but now that I'm doing the audio editing, I don't feel bad about it anymore. There was a real, and emphasis on was, because this was a bad idea, and it was shut down. There was a restaurant chain, 37 stores in the UK that served exclusively potato-based foods. It was called Spud-You-Like. This is one of the facades.
That has to be what this is based on, because they like make a point of this being all potatoes.
And they served absolutely just like food that looks like something out of a comedy skit. I'm just going to show this, what I can only assume they perhaps would have thought of as a hot dog. But what the fuck is that?
Oh God, why?
In a potato?
No! Like, look at that. That's not right.
This makes me like squint my eyes and open my mouth, and neither of those things can go back to how they were.
Is this how like sharks on Shark Tank feel? When like they are presented with like a relatively interesting idea. A restaurant that's all potatoes, and then they like actually bring out the product and it's like revolting.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is this? It looks like a potato that has like a pompadour. That's the only way I can describe it.
There was a detail I forgot to mention earlier where the like while they were showing off all the like potato foods, there were also like potato balloons that like they cut to these like three kids holding like potatoes on strings floating above their heads, and the second we see them, the potatoes fall like directly onto each of their skulls, and they're like, ow, ow, ah!
So what are these balloons, or
like,
just large potatoes on the end of pieces of string?
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy who like overanalyzes like the physics of cartoons, but there is something like ontologically terrifying of the fact that the second we like see these things observed, they lose their like balloon-like qualities and become heavy potatoes that drop directly onto like the heads of these children. It's like it's unsettling. It's weird.
If a large potato crushes the skull of a child and no one was there to hear it, does it even matter?
Yeah, anyway, I think the insane thing about this whole situation is that when all of Bikini Bottom's people go over to the Spud bucket, Mr. Krabs is like immediately like he feels that his business is being threatened. And it's like one slow day, dude. And like one other restaurant in town might be taking customers, and all of a sudden he's like, it's over. Time to pack it in.
Let me guess, does he do what would be a terrible business move and try to make his own, like, potato-based menu items to, like, combat them? Or is Mr. Krabs' plight really just not studied in this episode, and it's more, like, Plankton feels weird that his parents are here and they're better restaurateurs than him.
Well, so here's the thing. It's a little bit of both, because Mr. Krabs, like, I feel like in a normal episode or one that was more focused on Mr. Krabs, this would be like the Krusty Krab has potatoes now. But in this episode, for some reason, Mr. Krabs is like Sosuke Aizen, and he has like a design for how to get the Spud bucket removed as a competitor, because he's just thought that far ahead. And this all begins with like Plankton walking into the restaurant and being like, looks like you're gonna be out of business. No, he doesn't even say you're gonna be. He says you're out of business to his face.
Out of business?
And he's like got like a blackjack with him, and he's like menacingly slamming it into one of his palms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so then Mr. Krabs in what is like a unfathomable gambit given the stakes of this show, he turns to SpongeBob and like he presses SpongeBob's like eyes, mouth, and nose as if SpongeBob is like a safe or like a digital interface, and then out of SpongeBob's mouth comes the formula. As if SpongeBob was storing it the whole time. And he gives the formula to Plankton because he's like, yeah, the restaurant's worthless now, so is the formula. I guess you can have it if you want. And then Plankton, with the formula in hand, is like, I can dominate the entire world with this. Literally, he says that. And then Karen, seconds later, is like, yeah, but doesn't the worthlessness of this formula make your plan for world domination equally worthless? And Plankton gives the formula back to Mr. Krabs.
No!
Because he was owned owned with facts and logic.
Zooey's getting flashbacks to how incandescently angry they got when Plankton gave that $1,000 from his savings to Mr. Krabs as part of his genie plot.
Yeah. Zooey is like ripping a phone book apart in real time.
I am that SpongeBob gif! The gif of SpongeBob being ripped to shreds! Happy New Year!
That's so funny. Also, it's Plankton. We talked about this on our podcast for The Gentleman on Patreon, $1 a month. But it's for anyone who hasn't seen The Gentleman, the villain's plot in it is he wants to buy the main character's weed business, but he wants a discount on it, so he's causing all of these problems for it that would like bring the price down. And in the recording we were like, that's such a bizarre evil plan, because like, yeah, you'll get the weed business for less money, but you'll also inherit all of the problems that you caused. And it's a similar just bizarre leap of logic here.
But so Mr. Krabs takes the formula back and Plankton storms out, and Mr. Krabs says like, this has set into motion a chain of events that will solve all of our problems. And he says this to SpongeBob because he knows that what he's just done here will cause Plankton to bring the downfall of his own family business.
I'm just picturing it's like Mr. Krabs is like just pouring like gasoline onto the spud bucket. It's like, welcome to the neighborhood, mateys.
I'm just sorry. Like, I'm thinking of that, but also I'm just thinking of like a fucking like face-off moment with like Plankton tied up, and he's like, "No, you burned them all."
I thought you were talking about Face Off, like the sci-fi special effects makeup show Face Off. And I'm like, what does dressing up like an alien with prosthetic latex have to do with SpongeBob?
Pop culture sure is strange and incestuous.
It really is. Anyway, what's next? Speaking of incest, back to the hillbilly.
Oh no. So before like Mr. Krabs' like, fucking moon's eye plan comes to fruition, we have other shit going on where like a health inspector comes into the restaurant and Plankton is like, look, there's vermin making the food. And he points to the fact that other members of the Plankton family are like preparing the food, which is, I don't know, a little bit of internalized bigotry on Plankton's part, maybe.
Thanks, Plankton.
But at the same time, these Planktons are like funneling money into the health inspector's pocket. So he goes, actually, this makes the restaurant even better. And I'm going to give it a SSS ranking so that it's like, the best restaurant I've ever reviewed, which is, I
love how they just
like,
openly
why
corrupt. That's great.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
yes, hey kids, if ever a government official is giving you problems, just slip them a bit of cheddar and they'll look the other way. Life lessons.
Gus, that's your
quote.
Exactly. I mean, Henry, I just called you Gus. Oh. Henry, I just called you Gus.
Finally, we are one.
You wouldn't be
body swap. Anyway.
wouldn't be the first time a commenter made that mistake.
No. What the commenters always mix up is me and Charlie because they can't tell British people apart.
Well, I was.
What's up with that, huh?
That's your quote of the episode. I had judge people immediately. Gus had I love tragedy. And you have bribe government officials.
Exactly. That's how star going across the screen. The more you know, type shit.
Exactly.
Anyway, back to the spud bucket and its open corruption.
Yeah, between all of it. Exactly. Between all of us, we are outrageous people with opinions that should not be made principles in society.
But
anyway,
back to the Plankamanka family. Let's do this.
Plankton's second gambit is he decides to bring in what he calls the insatiable bulk, which is really just Patrick in a
course.
like Freddy Krueger mask in a cage.
A front, more like a burnt face.
What?
No, he has like a sorry, not Freddy Krueger, Jason
Oh,
Voorhees.
right, sorry.
He's got like a fucking like no, that was my bad. But anyway, it doesn't matter because Patrick bursts out of the weird horror movie getup that he has, and he starts eating everything in the restaurant. And Plankton, for some reason, thinks that this will put his family out of business because, you know, he's run the chum bucket so well that obviously he knows what affects how businesses go. And just like magic almost, his parents turn Patrick from an insatiable customer into their new machine for mashing their potatoes in his mouth.
Ugh,
Yeah.
Oh God.
that's repulsive.
Why?
Yeah, like this is proper like we're just stalling for time and doing some extra jokes that have no business being in here. And like literally across the street right now, like in the episode, Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob are sitting with like lawn chairs and eating popcorn and watching the downfall of the thing of the Spud Bucket. And Mr. Krabs is like, oh, like it won't be long now, me boy. And SpongeBob literally says, I love it when you get Machiavellian, Mr. Krabs.
What?
This is this episode.
Sorry?
If we are to take episodes that
Yeah.
have the trio of us discuss, like episodes of Spongebob Boyz, I mean, this I think is this episode's equivalent of Mr. Krabs referring to himself as a tool of capitalism in the hippie soup episode.
Yeah, no, literally. Oh, we're gonna get a hippie soup moment later on, but not in this episode. I can tell you that much. Anyway, Plankton's hubris is his downfall, obviously, because in like after all his like attempts to ruin his family's restaurant fail, they decide to hire him because it's a family business. Oh wait, sorry, I forgot one more thing. Plankton literally there is a truck that delivers potatoes to the Spud Bucket, and Plankton throws a grenade into it.
Okay, that's my humor.
But thankfully, Mike Ehrmantraut was hiding in the back to protect the potatoes and shot Plankton.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shot Plankton. The assassination of Plankton by the coward Mike Ehrmantraut. Every reference is like compounding right now. Anyway, Plankton's terrorism backfires because it invents French fries, and like the shrapnel of these potatoes, and they use the word shrapnel in the episode, is it comes out as a bunch of French fries, and Plankton admits defeat here. He says like, "Oh, you've ruined my plan of world domination. Your stupid Spud Bucket is the fucking end of me," and his parents are like, hey, but you can come and work for the Spud Bucket. So Plankton does. And I guess this was Mr. Krabs' gambit, because Plankton, despite the fact that the Spud Bucket seems to have a successful business model, has drawn in all of the customers, when he is in the kitchen, he cannot help but add that little bit of chum to everything.
Why did you go all in on chum, Plankton? You know people don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you have some kind of chum room. I learned about it. Now all you have to.
Oh. And is that the episode? Is that the whole thing?
Yeah, well, okay, so inevitably 3 things happen. Number 1, the Spud Bucket closes down because no one wants to go there because chum destroys all the food.
Interesting.
Number 2, Mr. Krabs gloats and is like, ha ha ha, Plankton, you are not as smart as me. I'm the Joker. I've got all sorts of plans.
And the third
3
thing is that Plankton's parents, now financially ruined, go into their garage with a hose pipe and connect it to their exhaust.
Oh,
They have nothing now.
Oh no. They're fine. They actually canonically go off and say they're gonna buy a football team. They're good. But the actual third thing is that Cousin Cletus shows up with his, like, dynamite, and he explodes this dynamite right next to Mr. Krabs and Plankton, and the episode ends with the two of them lying in a crater, damaged and, like, bruised, and noticeably, Cousin Cletus isn't in the crater with them. He ceased to exist after he detonated the dynamite.
He did a suicide bombing.
Yeah, I leave you to the one conclusion of that.
It's like, when you said that Plankton and Mr. Krabs were, like, blown up next to each other, okay? Better Call Saul spoilers, everyone. It's like
Oh, no.
Lalo and Howard Hamlin.
But beneath the super lab.
Beneath the
Oh,
super
God.
lab, laying together in eternity. It's quite beautiful.
It's quite romantic when you really think about it.
It really is.
Yeah. So that was Blood is Thicker Than Grease, which is, again, the least appropriate title for, like, I guess, like, oh, it's about family, Vin Diesel quote, whatever. Shut up. Shut up, SpongeBob.
It's so funny. I have never ever seen someone make one of those jokes in, like, any of our comment sections, but you're so pissed off about the prospect of someone doing that someday that you feel the need to preempt it every time the possibility comes up. It fascinates me.
Henry, I need you to understand that the call is coming from inside the house, because I know our audience has never seen a Fast and the Furious movie, but they live in my brain rent-free because I fucking love those movies! Anyway.
So when a possibility to make a like Dom Toretto family meme comes up, you make it at yourself angrily.
Yeah, no, it's not out of contempt. It's out of, like, insatiable compulsion. A thing I cannot avoid doing. I'm less mad at the joke itself and more mad that I cannot stop myself. And no one can stop me.
It's existential, Gus.
I mean, if I could cure my these nuts addiction that so vexed Meg over its period.
Can you?
You can cure your Fast and the Furious meme addiction, I think. So.
Well, all right. I just want to hold on before we move the fuck on. I just need to test you for a second here. And did you know that the original name of Super Smash Brothers was going to be Sukapon Kingdom?
I didn't know that. That's a very interesting fact, Gus. Thank you.
Yeah, it was called Sukapon.
Well, I think I read about that on Smogon, a interesting Pokemon website that you told me about once.
All right, cool.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Anyway, you've got an episode.
And then I think after this, I'm gonna go buy some CDs. Sorry, Gus. Sorry, Zooey. What were you saying? No, I did it. Everyone is Gus.
Smoke.
Everyone is me.
Smoke on.
That's nuts. Is that a joke? Is that...
No, Smogon is real. Gus told me about it, but
it's a real
but
thing.
in a previous
Was it a Smoke on these nuts joke?
These are real things.
In another episode, Gus brought up Smogon, and then I waited like 5 minutes, and then just suddenly went Smogon these nuts before we went to the next topic. Anyway,
I was thinking that you two were like psychologically communicating, like trying to like one up each other with like Smogon or like something like up dog, and I'm like sitting here. That's why I yelled "wait!" I thought I had an epiphany.
I mean, you did kind of.
Yeah.
You had at least 50% of an
made up the
epiphany.
situation.
No, it's true. Yeah.
So,
but you know, it's just this it's this mind link that we've developed over the years. We're like brothers, only closer.
Yeah. we are truly those two, the hero and the villain from Shadow and Bone, Kerrigan and the other one. So.
Yeah,
I have a devil's bargain to make with you two. So,
interesting.
how crazy would you say are both of your second episodes?
I would say that mine is pretty fucked up in a existential way.
But knowing what little
way,
you do about mine, Gus, do you think it's more fucked up than mine?
No.
And Zooey, what about you?
I say with a heavy and deep defeat.
Yeah, mine mine is not as fucked up. There's a sequence that happens that is kind of fucked up, but the rest of the episode is kind of it's like mundane.
Well, tell you
If
what.
if I'm smelling what Henry's stepping in, I think we're gonna move
Yeah.
to your second
Yes,
episode,
I
Zoe.
think we
or
will.
my
I
second
agree.
episode.
We will do Zooey, then Gus, and I'll finish on mine because, by the law of how YouTube works, you have to save the crazy shit for the last one so people watch the whole thing. And you'll finally get what
get
the...
invested, you rude.
You'll finally...
you
You
rude
rude...
goldfishes.
Believe me, when
Don't
you've
tell
heard
us
this
this
thing, you'll be
secret.
going, oh, amazing. And you'll finally understand what that fucked up title and thumbnail is about as well. So, Zooey, what's your
Yeah.
second episode?
Oh my god.
Firehouse Bob.
God damn it, that's made me really want a Firehouse sub.
That's what I was thinking. That's
Um,
what I was thinking.
Great minds think
What are you guys
hungrily. It is
What are you guys talking about? The mind link has switched over, I think.
It's a chain of like
Yes.
submarine sandwich restaurants, similar to Jersey Mike's Firehouse subs.
Yes.
And
Yes.
whenever me and Meg are in North Carolina, we always get one. They're really good.
Oh wow, that's fascinating. I wish I lived in a world that isn't inundated with Subway at every fucking corner of every street.
Listen,
in every
listen.
single storefront.
Listen! I hold
Uh-huh.
a respectful
listening.
nostalgia for Subway. I would only eat pepperoni and salami and nothing else on a white sub roll sandwich when I was a kid, and I would only get it from Subway. So be careful.
Okay,
That's
I'm gonna
fair.
be real as fuck. I'm gonna be absolutely real as fuck here. Subway, like, it was something that I ate when I was traveling cross country with a very important road trip with my parents. It was something that I ate, like, throughout college because there was a Subway on campus. It is something that, like, has sustained me in many different times in my life, through many different jobs, through many different, like, roads I've traveled down. I could never, ever get sick of Subway. It is a brand close to my heart. Please be the first Sponge sponsorship of this show.
I mean,
Subway
to be
subs.
fair, guys, it is a little bit bad luck to be sponsored by Subway. I don't necessarily think you'd want to be in the company of the other kind of human spokespeople for that, which so far I believe includes Jared Fogle and Dr. Disrespect.
Oh God! Yeah, wait! Oh no! Wait! Subway, immediately terminate all of your other spokespeople. They are all monsters. They are all like groomers and fucking no. They're straight up menaces to society. Please, Subway, for the sake of yourselves, sponsor us or like I don't know, man. Quiznos had it right. They had those little
The
freaking
Spong
robot
Monkeys
guys or whatever
the
they were.
Spong Monkeys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were like Quizno subs. They're great. I love them.
Only in Spongebob Boys would this tangent not be cut. Okay, Zooey, Firehouse Sponge. Wow.
So, Firehouse Sponge. Bob is looking for Gary, who is stuck in
Oh,
a
no.
kelp tree.
Oh, no, and there's no
going
giant
back
cylinder
there.
robot to rescue him.
And there's no page 5 protagonist of a show or movie that has the Blake Snyder beat sheet to plot out all its plot points in order to save the cat. What do we do?
He's like, Gare Bear, oh, Gare Bear, come down, jump, jumpity jump, Gare Bear, come down, because he's stuck in a tree. So SpongeBob looks
Oh,
at
no.
the tree, and there's a lever in the tree. So he pulls the lever, of course, and Larry the
Why?
lobster shows up, and he's a fireman for some reason. And he's like, I'm here to get Gary down. And I wrote Old Man Jenkins. It's not Old Man Jenkins. I realized at the end of the episode, I believe it's another old man that
It was
can't
yet
remember the
another one
name
of SpongeBob's Mole Men, as Charlie coined.
Yes,
in
SpongeBob
one of the
Mole Men,
previous
yes.
episodes.
Yeah,
That is
one
really
of them.
funny. It is amazing I didn't call them on that, but
Yeah.
priorities, I guess.
So this old man is like, he starts climbing up the ladder to get Gary down. He's just excessively really slow, and Gary just like slides down the ladder because he's taking too long. And SpongeBob is like, oh, thank you for getting my, I almost said squid down. That is a snail. This is not a squid. So
SpongeBob, do you own me now? That's weird. That'd be a weird episode. That's not going to resemble anything else that's in this video, I'm sure.
Of course. So SpongeBob begs Larry for no reason. Begs Larry after seeing like a shot of Larry looking super hot in his fireman outfit. SpongeBob is like, please, please, please let me become a fireman so I can be as cool or I guess relevant to this specific job.
Wait, is this just a
hot as
rehash
you.
of like SpongeBob being like, oh, I want to be a lifeguard, and like Larry is like the example, but now it's like firemen?
I guess so, only this is like really lackluster. Like this episode was like really forgettable, I gotta be honest, except for one part, which I will get to, please.
I'm excited for it.
Stay tuned,
Okay.
listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
So SpongeBob is like begging him, and he's like, please, please, I need a job. I want to be a fireman so bad, Larry, please. And Larry's like, I'm sorry, dude, but we just don't, just like Indeed.com, we're not hiring right now. And then all of a sudden,
Oh! Burn like the kind of things that happen if you don't call the fire department when your house is in a blaze.
Exactly. So all of a sudden he's like, no, we don't have any jobs. Sorry. And then that old man falls and shatters all of his bones. And Larry's like, yeah, there's a job opening. And SpongeBob's like, I will take the job. Thank you. I love tragedy.
This is insane. This is insane to me. Much like me myself, SpongeBob also loves tragedy. I will also have to say that it is insane to me that SpongeBob is like, I need a second full-time job to cover my expenses in the modern day. It's a little too real is what I'm
I
saying.
think SpongeBob
is
It's
the thing.
volunteer.
I think SpongeBob put Gary in that tree to have a reason to interact with Larry on this.
1359. Probably the worst SpongeBob visual face I've ever seen in my life. I'll
Excellent.
grace you. I will not send the picture because I didn't even bother screenshotting it because I'm a nice person. Unlike you both who send screenshots.
Oh, theater of
these
the
terrible
mind.
episodes. I'm
Theater of the mind.
kind and peaceful. Thank you, going on the record. So anyway, it was just very weird. But he's oogling. He's oogling at Larry. And as he makes this face and he's like watching Larry like do, I don't know, fireman stuff, he makes this noise and I wrote it down like as onomatopoeia because I didn't know how to. It's guading?
Guading?
No.
Guading?
Guading?
Like
Guading?
Gawding.
Guading?
Guading?
Guading.
He says.
I'm freaking guading over here.
What does guading mean? Tell us in the comments. Wrong answers only.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, it's
my
obviously
guading.
Claudia.
It's obviously god!
So, oh my god. So SpongeBob.
Oh my god,
basically-
I'll have you know, Zoe.
We can't keep doing this.
So SpongeBob shows up to the firehouse. He's got Gary, who's like patterned now to look like a Dalmatian. It looks more like clown. Oh my god, no, cow pattern, not clown pattern.
Cow Gary, not Clown Gary.
We all. Oh, I'm going. By the way, everyone, I'm going to the circus tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna have a great time.
Imagine
Imagine if the video got copyright struck because of Gus like jankily humming.
Because I
Entrance of the
sang-
Gladiator.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. Yeah, I get sued by the fucking Roman Empire. It's like, hey, wait a minute. I'm part of your intellectual property in a sense. I've transformed content. I'm an Italian American. I think I count. If I don't count, who the fuck else counts? I quit.
Anyway, Zoe.
So Gary is patterned like a Dalmatian, and SpongeBob calls him his Snailmation, which just sounded like Snail Nation.
Which is
to
something
me.
you would say.
Yes, if anyone
Oh,
knows
yeah, what?
for context, I will always say blank nation about things. Like, I'll be like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
it's Spongebob Boyz Nation. So anyway, my mind is fogged and clouded by the
It's okay. What I
machinations
also
of
love about this, is the implication that, like, Gary is from the region of Snailmatia. It's like, okay.
It's the implication in
sure.
Snail Nation.
Exactly. So Larry just shows him around.
What in this show isn't implied?
I don't know. Larry shows him around. And he's giving him like a tour, relatively mundane firehouse tour. And then SpongeBob decides to do a Goldilocks style, let's hop on all the beds in the firehouse, and he goes, too soft, and he's like squishy, and then he lands on like another one, and he goes, too hard, and then he jumps on another one, and it like, the bed comes apart and like forms a spring bed tutu around him, and he goes, tutu? And then
A little bit less classy than Too Loose for Track, I'll admit.
I was gonna say that. That was the best one they did in this whole show, and they're just, I don't know, trying to catch that lightning in a bottle again. Didn't work.
No.
Anyway.
And as he's hopping around, out of nowhere, Patrick shows up and yells verbatim, I'm gonna start fires! And
oh, God! No! Patrick, please!
This
reconsider your life choices.
It made me laugh aloud, I gotta be honest. I just really laughed. I think he's got like...
Yeah, no, honestly, that's pretty funny.
Like, I don't know where he came from. I don't know why he's here. I don't know if I'm remembering correctly. I think he had a flamethrower. I could be wrong. I'm very tired. I hope he did.
My favorite thing about modern SpongeBob is just that, like, you'll be watching like an episode that you're like, oh yeah, okay, this is gross and weird, and then something will happen where it's just like an attack on your psyche. It's like the character reaches out of the screen and like grabs you by the neck, and it's like, hey, pay attention. Insane shit's about to happen.
He yells it so aggressively too. So he shows up and he goes, he's gonna start fires, and Larry's like, no. We're going to stop fires. We're not gonna start fires. And Patrick is like, oh, darn. So they do the rest of the tour, and they show there's like a little flame in a little contained area. And
know your enemy.
And SpongeBob is like, wow,
Exactly.
and he reads the plaque and he goes, the first fire? Like the first fire of all time? Wow, that's crazy. How'd you guys get this? And Larry's like, no, it's the first fire we ever put out, but we kept this one for memory nostalgia purposes.
I don't want to be that guy. But they're underwater.
Well, that's why it's in a jar, Gus. Pay attention.
Exactly.
I guess I need to be more media literate.
Exactly.
So here's the part. So they have the end part of the tour, and they see a bunch of fire poles, and SpongeBob is like, it's so cool. I love fire poles. I'm SpongeBob. And they have poles all over for different areas of the firehouse. One of them goes to the bathroom. One of them goes to the kitchen. But the bathroom one, Patrick goes, I don't know why. He goes, that's my ride. And then like Stripper rotates up the pole and then just disappears for like a solid period of time.
It's because he's off starting fires
Patrick.
in that period.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's a fire starter.
Twisted
he's a sweet
fire
disaster.
starter.
Yeah. But here's the
We're
part.
just referencing everything.
Here's the part, and I will send you the video clip of this.
All right, give it to us. Give it to the
so
people.
There's a pole.
Back to the people.
I don't know if the people want to see it. So there's a pole with a lot of signs that says mystery pole.
No.
And SpongeBob is like, where's that go? And Larry goes, oh, we don't know. It never goes to the same place twice. So my next bullet point is in all capital letters. And I just
Fire Manning just became very eldritch.
Yeah, here's the video. And in all caps in my notes, I wrote, "I feel high." There's real images of period things happening.
I'm gonna watch
like
this
a
in real time.
Huge montage.
I'm gonna watch this
I'm
in
gonna
real
watch this
time.
now too. What are you?
Go ahead.
watching this?
Tell me what you think.
No,
What?
no. Excuse me. What? No. Okay, wait.
Oh, I'm still watching
This is
it.
part of a real show. Yeah, I'm still going.
The alien gif.
Yeah, this is. And
dancing
then, like, they're on
guys.
the beach, I guess. Oh, God! It's the beginning of Nope!
What? He's on a roller.
Wha- Yeah,
he killed
wow.
that guy. He destroyed a
They're
planet.
just like. Wow! And Larry's so disappointed. Jeez.
SpongeBob spent the
Yeah.
rest
I
of
think
his life in a psychiatric facility after that.
Larry just ruined J.J. Abrams' whole career by destroying the mystique of a mystery.
After that
Oh my
happens, to me, the rest of the episode didn't matter. But for the audience, I will continue because that was just the
He'll
best.
soldier
for me.
on.
So anyway, Squidward shows up at one point, and it's like Patrick and SpongeBob, and Squidward is like, "Well, I'm here to be a volunteer firefighter too, because Mr. Krabs was government ordered, and he didn't want to show up, so I'm here by proxy." And SpongeBob says, "Wow,
Clancy Brown was busy recording Invincible this week. He couldn't be here.
So SpongeBob is like, "Wow, I'm here by Boxy," and then turns into like a weird like Tetris thing, and then Patrick, I did like this. Patrick goes, "And I'm here, Foxy," and he does like a little pose and like bats his beautiful eyelashes.
Patrick is carrying this episode.
He really is.
He's got
Which
all
is
the best
insane,
lines.
because the-
who did
Yeah.
Bill Fakerbakey like Slipper 22?
Yeah.
The amount of screen time proportionally is like he should not be doing this, but at the same time it's like what the fuck else is going on here?
Yeah. So they practice
A really
all of-
biting satire of like being a fireman.
Yeah.
Society doesn't need those. We'll just let it burn.
That's so funny.
So they practice their skills, and I accidentally wrote like foreboding instead of like fire hosing. That's a typo, but it applies. And they save old ladies with babies, and it's like a montage, whatever. Squidward gets approved as a volunteer firefighter too, but they ran out of like protection hats, so he gets a little party hat and a little party blower, and they don't have a horn, so he blows the little party horn, like little noisemaker, and it's cute. I thought that was cute. So
He's putting in the work.
he is. So they get their first assignment, which is Plankton, who's upset because this. Okay, there's like a tiny. Okay, here's again my notes verbatim. They get their first assignment, which is Plankton, who's upset this little tiny Germanoid plankton that is looking like a dog is in the tree. It is transparent. What is that thing? It's transparent. I don't know what this is. It's like a weird, like, plankton dog that's, like, stuck in the tree, and it's, like, see-through, and Plankton's, like, upset
I don't like that.
about it, and then they get it down, whatever, whatnot, blah, 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 blah. So.
Yeah, it's if we want to go true to the Hollywood format, it's save the cat, not save the plankton dog.
I also just feel
Exactly.
like
I think they should have let it burn.
cartoons have so massively, I think, overrepresented the role that like getting pets out of trees plays in like the average day of a like firefighter.
I'll be real, I don't think it's just cartoons. I think there's like plenty of live action examples too. It's one of those things that has just become like I don't know, it's a modern mythology in a way that is not reflected in. Like, I think there's a lot of pets that just don't even want to mess with trees at all.
I also think almost any cat could safely get down from a tree too.
Yeah, and
That's
I'll
like
tell
their
you
whole
this.
thing.
I will tell you this though. In my backyard, we did have a bear
What?
climbing a tree.
Oh damn, that's cool.
A real bear.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
then they called the firemen and the police and everything on this fucking
See,
day.
here's the thing. Like, forget saving all these cats. The cats can get down just fine. Save me when I'm up in a tree. That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
just thinking about.
I can't rearrange my limbs as I drop down and land perfectly like a superhero. I don't have that kind of training.
This was when I was in middle school, right? And we got home. And all of a sudden, like, my mom, like, drove me home when I was in middle school, and all, like, the cops and, like, the firemen are surrounding our house, and my mom's like, what the fuck is going on? So we went in, and they're like, you can't come in here! There's a bear! There's a bear in your backyard! I'll wrap this story up quick. Long story short,
Okay, alright, fair enough.
There was like news photography pictures of this fucking bear, and my mom decided she would rip the pictures from the photography with like the watermark still on it, put it through one of those websites where you can get shit printed on a canvas even if it's not your intellectual property, had it printed like on a canvas for like $10 and then hung it up.
That's
Photo
so
of this bear in our
funny.
backyard.
Wow.
By the way, you'll also
the famous bear.
You'll also be able to hear Zooey's mom in episode 6 of Kill Jam Triple X, whatever that's.
Their acting debut.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Probably after the SpongeBob Boys.
Yeah,
But still.
Depends on
this
when
is
you're
basically
watching
the
it.
end of the. Yeah. This is
Ah.
basically the end of the episode.
Time is up.
So the fire department gets another
Budget.
call, and it turns out that no, not the fire department, the firemen, SpongeBob and Patrick and
The fire sea dwellers.
Yeah, they get a call that there's a fire that they need to attend to. The fire department is on fire, and it turns out that the first fire in that little jar thing escaped. They fucking Chekhov's gun this.
Oh my god! That
Um,
it fully like became like a, I don't know, some kind of like sealed evil in a can, as TV tropes would say.
It does a really
where it's
silly
like
evil
the
laugh.
ancient demon or dragon or whatever gets out and it causes a big problem.
Yeah, and it does a really cute evil laugh. I think it is quite sweet.
I can't wait
And
for an
then-
episode where Plankton tries to harness the power of the primordial flame to get the Krabby Patty secret formula.
Well,
That's the kind of video I would put on to like go to sleep. Just like lore of the first flame and how Plankton harnessed it.
I promise you this is my last interjection. I had it like I would listen to like sleep. You know, there's like sleep audio sounds that are like crickets chirping or like wood rain or like something like
Yes.
that. And I remember going hysterical
yes.
because it was like 1:00 in the morning and I'm like trying to fall asleep and I have it on and all of a sudden an ad comes on. I shit you not. It's like peaceful forest noises and then an ad comes on. And it was for gambling, and it's like all of these like gambling noises, and the announcer, I swear on my life, the announcer goes, "This is the loudest advertisement in the world."
That's awesome.
I'm like, am I in a fucking sitcom?
I love
Like,
that.
Fuck your ears. Come gamble.
Yeah. You're gonna die tonight.
So, the end of the episode, it doesn't go well. They don't really wrangle the fire. They get enveloped by it, and you think they're dead until the old man shows back up again, the one who broke all his bones. He comes in an ambulance. He puts the fire out. SpongeBob decides to save the fire anyway, and it blows up the firehouse again. And then Larry says, I wonder if I could volunteer for something safer. How about medical experiments? That sounds good. And then SpongeBob says, I'm also a doctor. I can do that for you. And then they chase each other into the sunset. And that's the end of the episode.
I'm just my head canon before we move on to Gus's episode. I'm just picturing the old man coming back and him being like, I'm the only one who can deal with the first fire. And they're like, but why? And he says, because, my boy, it was me who lit it all those aeons ago.
That would have been...
Whoa! Oh my god!
Then it would be
Jenkins
like
got lore.
then it would be like something that Gus would write. That's your wheelhouse, I would say.
Whoa! Hey! Whoa! Hey!
Also,
Whoa!
I
We
think-
didn't ask for personal attacks and accurate assessments of someone's creative body right
It's-
now.
That was cool.
It's only an attack if you read it that way.
Yeah, I read it as
Exactly.
a positive, cool thing.
Yes.
I'm just gonna turn sideways into defense mode, and my life points are safe.
Gus is quickly
But-
writing down this idea. Fireman versus first flame, which he lit as an
Write it down, write it down!
style caveman. Anyway, Gus, what's your last episode?
My second episode and last episode is called "Don't Make Me Laugh."
Oh no.
Don't make me laugh, my funny friend. Don't make me bend in half.
So when does the title
Don't be a
stop
card,
in that?
babe. Don't mess with Drek. Don't make me laugh so much that you begin to ache. Anyway,
I'm nodding.
The Pebble and the Penguin was a movie.
Not one I've seen.
The title of this episode. The title of this episode is "Don't Make Me Laugh,"
Okay.
and it's a bad one.
I was gonna.
And it's not a good
I was gonna
episode.
say, Pebble and the Penguin, that played in your crack house, not mine.
Yeah, no, like legitimately that's the thing is that like this is no, that's not relevant. What we're talking about is this episode where you guys know the like theater in Bikini Bottom that has like the kind of like straw roof.
Yeah, the one that was
It's got the
briefly
sort of Hawaiian
melted
design.
Yes.
by SpongeBob and Patrick's rancid breath.
Yes.
Yes. So it's that theater, but we begin on the interior of it. And SpongeBob is all like, "Oh, I love the theater. It's got sticky floors and it makes you really feel grounded." And Patrick has taken SpongeBob to this movie and he's like, "SpongeBob, you're going to like lose your mind. This is the best movie that you've never seen in my life." Or something like that. He says like it all dumb.
It's
and
called
weird.
Sinners. It's really good. It has a variety of... me and Meg watched it last night. It is really
It's on
good.
my list!
Anyway, we won't say a word about
I
that.
need to get to the
Go
movie
see Sinners.
theaters!
It's great.
I'm so
Worth
mad!
the price of admission. Anyway, sorry. Back to
I
the
gotta do
Bikini
it.
Bottom
I gotta
Theatre.
do it.
Same.
That and Mickey 17, I gotta see. I've missed them both. I need to see them. Anyway, they're in the theater, and Patrick's taking SpongeBob to like a very funny movie, supposedly. And the movie is actually called like something like Goodbye Prudence or something like Prudence is Afraid. I don't know. It's some movie, but it seems like it's more of like a romantic comedy than a like funny specifically movie. And it's in black and white because like I guess SpongeBob can't conceptualize movies that are like in color and modern, which is I guess good. I'm glad that there's no movies showing in Bikini Bottom that are like modern day, like MCU brain rot sort of things.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, they're supporting their local cinema. They go in, and SpongeBob and Patrick are nonetheless, despite this movie seemingly being about like love and the bonds between fish, they were laughing their fins off. And then there is a, like, zoom in, SpongeBob's brain inside of his head, and there's, like, a Baki-style narration of, like, all the years of laughing finally caught up with SpongeBob, and his funny bone has broken. And SpongeBob catches Joaquin Phoenix Joker disease.
No.
What?
Yeah, SpongeBob is unable to stop laughing. He can't, like, he is like, laughing so much in this theater right now that even Patrick is like, "This is crazy. This guy's laughing over the movie. That's messed up. This guy's eating beans."
I bet Tom Kenny
Like-
loved recording this one. Like Zooey, as a voice actor, if
Yeah.
you were sent like a script for like one of our shows or anything else, and then it's like, yeah, you just have to be laughing uproariously the entire episode, would you be filled with dread?
Yeah, I feel like if you want a serious answer to this, I feel like I would be like I think it would be physically exhausting.
Mm.
I really do. I feel like it'd be physically exhausting.
So this episode
yeah.
really is just a giant middle finger to Tom Kenny. And like
Yeah.
SpongeBob himself gets thrown out of the movie theater as a result of his rampant laughter, and he is staggering down the street, holding his sides, trying to keep the laughter in. He's like, he becomes very quickly a social pariah whose laughter brings doom to all things that he interacts with.
All he has are negative thoughts.
Yeah, literally, he's becoming the Joker. He interacts with, there's a hat shop, and like somebody is like, oh, this hat looks good on me, right? And the hat shop owner is like, oh, certainly. And SpongeBob walks past laughing like crazy, and the guy becomes insecure. And also, this is the hat shop from like the episode where SpongeBob gets a seahorse, where Patrick can't get in because he's got the board on his head. It's that particular hat shop.
Oh.
There's also another moment where SpongeBob, again, he's like running around laughing too hard, and he sees a guy whose milk truck has crashed, and like there's spilled milk all over the ground, and that guy's crying. And SpongeBob laughs at him and says that like, oh, you're crying over spilled milk. Sorry. And he runs away.
Oh,
SpongeBob, just stay indoors.
Yeah.
Bob, that kind of breaks my heart.
Well, that's the thing, Henry. SpongeBob has to go to work. He has to go to his job at the Krusty Krab the next day after. So he is still laughing, and he has to like sneak past everybody, and nobody can see him laughing. He has to get to the kitchen, and he laughs in Squidward's face. Literally, he like bumps into Squidward, gets stuck on his face for a moment, and Squidward says, "Get off of my face!" And SpongeBob starts laughing, and Squidward takes this as like an insult to his appearance. But fortunately, Squidward's mirror says like, "Don't worry, you're beautiful," and kisses him. Like his own reflection extrudes out of the mirror and kisses him.
Squidward's narcissism saves his ego from ego death.
Mirror.
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
Who is the sexiest
he's
of
like
them all?
He's like every third person on social media. He's a narcissist.
He has the black
Which is
narcissist
definitely not-
eyes.
Yeah, he's becoming a demon.
Insane.
Who?
Oh, Sarah Zid's video on that is really good. Anyway, so what's happening now?
Yeah, no, it's a good video. Yeah, anyway, oh god, let me become literate again and read my notes. So, SpongeBob is in the kitchen, he gets to the kitchen, and he starts laughing. No, he runs into the patty vault, and for some stupid fucking reason, in the patty vault, there is an intercom that goes out to the entire restaurant. So SpongeBob's private laughter in the patty vault goes out to the entire restaurant, and once again, again, in 100% of the 2 episodes that I've done, everybody in the Krusty Krab decides to leave the restaurant because the restaurant is laughing at them, which really, given everything we've talked about in this series, sets a precedent that, one thing will go wrong in the Krusty Krab, and everybody will just leave for a day, and it costs Mr. Krabs millions of dollars.
I mean, to be fair, you can see how the gradient of the quality of the Krusty Krab declining over time would lead to precipitous drops in customer loyalty.
No, okay, so here's the thing, though. The Krusty Krab is constantly, chaotic, insane things happen. It has at least 3 times been, the center of some kind of, pandemic or zombifying event. There have been several moments where, somebody just starts attacking people in the Krusty Krab. There have been moments where, a horrifying, disgusting, unappetizing activity just occurs in the middle
There
of the
was a
Krusty
brief
Krab.
period where it was usurped by a botched clone fusion of Mr. Krabs and Plankton.
Yeah, so it's like people nonetheless decide, this is my lunch break, I gotta spend it here.
The competition
and they
is
come
the
into
chum
the Krusty
bucket.
Krab.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they come in despite whatever sitcom bullshit will be going on that day. But when it begins, every one of them, like the civilians of a superhero comic, will immediately be like, "Oh, not today. We hate actually everything this stands for," and then they'll all leave en masse. And then Mr. Krabs will be like, "My business, my livelihood, it's all over. I can't do it."
So does this get SpongeBob fired or sent home from the Krusty Krab, thus destroying his raison d'etre?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It does. But there is a third party in this because Mr. Krabs is concerned initially about SpongeBob, but then the fucking Karen Supreme herself, Lady Upturn, emerges from the woodwork
Bubble Bass
to
sick
make
that day?
sure. Honestly though, Genuinely, yeah, that's probably the case. I think it's like they wanted to like push the angle of Lady Upturn as the heel this season. So they had her come in and like she has her like little like I think it's like called like Foofy or Feffy or something. She has like her little like poodle worm and SpongeBob mistreats it somehow. He like laughs at its face. She falls on her like Lady Upturn trips and like is just clumsy and she's like, I need to go to the hospital. And because SpongeBob is laughing, Mr. Krabs is like, Lady Upturn has so much money. I can't keep you on. You have to go home until you're like ready to work again. And SpongeBob laughs in Mr. Krabs' face and goes, I'm a monster. And he runs out into the streets of Bikini Bottom on a fucking laugh rampage.
That's
He knows how bad the job market is. He's not going to be able to use Indeed.
Yeah,
we were
no,
paid
exactly,
by Indeed's
exactly.
competitors in this video. I was just on the end of like Lady Upturn has so much money, and it's like, yeah, and she will presumably spend it one patty at a time in this restaurant. Like, just because she has more money doesn't mean I will choose to pay $50,000 for this burger because I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, you know, it's almost like Lady Upturn's entire existence is a very superfluous thing on this series. But anyway, SpongeBob is running through the town, laughing at everybody. Nobody likes this, including me. I hate this most of all, dear viewers. and he... What? Oh, okay. So here's the hippie soup moment. SpongeBob is laughing and like he's going into like he goes into a different building to try and hide his laughter. And inside this building, he finds an operating room where the doctor, like that purple fish who is the like main doctor of all of SpongeBob.
That guy.
Boo Boos, eh? Yeah, exactly. That man. He is doing an operation on a robot, on a like lost in space ass, metallic ass, claw-handed, light bulb faced robot who is like laying down on the table, and they're gonna do a surgery. And in the middle of this, like, you know, the doctor's like, oh, scalpel, a stock tool, sponge, and the nurse tries to wipe off the doctor's sweat with SpongeBob, and SpongeBob is laughing at this. And this makes the doctor go like, hey, no laughter in this room. And then, for some reason, the robot who is being operated on grabs a, like, torch and a buzzsaw from the table of surgical tools and starts shouting, I'm the surgeon now! I'm the surgeon now! And blowing fire all over the room and trying to, like, kill them.
Okay,
I'm just
funny.
Why do
it's
people
just
keep
like
declaring?
I am a surgeon. I am a surgeon.
People keep declaring themselves medical doctors in your episodes this time, Gus. Wait, no, that was at the end of Zooey's last one, where he's like, "Hey, I'm a doctor too. I'll do medical experiments on you, Larry." Again, that very much, by the way, supports my theory that it was just a front for SpongeBob to get to like touch up Larry.
Yeah.
It's like, first we need to do a prostate exam, Larry.
That aside, I just feel like there's so many Nickelodeon shows that are like, impersonate a doctor, it'll be fun until it isn't.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And Malachi Love Robinson it up in there until you then have to spend like up to 5 years in jail for impersonating a doctor.
It just reminds me of the Drake and Josh, and I'll keep this brief. We'll get back to SpongeBob, you lamos. Is that like there was that whole thing where Drake becomes Dr. Nussbaum for a brief moment, and then in order to like save him from performing a surgery on a real patient.
Oh yeah, he lies
Josh
that he like kissed
in.
his wife and starts attacking him.
Yeah, but Josh's whole, thing is, I'm Dr. Vichy Swaz, and we just have to assume that nobody in that room knows that it's a soup.
Yeah, you just gotta
hope. That Vichy
Swaz
is a fucking... It's like, yeah, wow, I guess doctors are just an uneducated body of people, and that's the way that it comes down in a fucking Dan Schneider
that's
sitcom.
the official Nickelodeon line on this matter. Okay, anyway, how do things progress from there?
I mean, literally after a killer robot decides to say that he's a surgeon and tries to operate on people, where really do you go from there? But there is somehow inexplicably more plot to this, is that SpongeBob is running around like he sees a wanted poster of like a drawn version of himself, and they're like, a laughing maniac is loose in the town, we need to capture him. And he's just, again, not the first time SpongeBob's been a maniac and a menace to the town who is needed to be dealt with by law enforcement, but certainly
member of the Sponge Hat Pirates.
Yo. Anyway, SpongeBob, much like the Straw Hat Luffy, of which this whole plot is loosely connected to, he finds clowns that are adversarial towards him in the graveyard of Bikini Bottom.
What were they doing
There's
there?
A clown funeral. There's a clown funeral happening in the graveyard, and Mr. Sparkle Nose, who is a clown with a disco ball for a nose, is in a coffin, and the other clowns are giving a eulogy, and SpongeBob is trying not to laugh at this clown funeral.
That's
and
kind of
as
brilliant.
a result
I'll give
of
it
his
that.
yeah, like
on
of
the
all
floor.
things it could have been, it is maybe the most hilarious thing ever that they could have decided to, like, it's the perfect juxtaposition of like comedy and tragedy.
A way I would, by the
Clown
way,
funeral.
a way I would immediately change this episode, just if I was a Nickelodeon studio executive, once I'd, escaped to my, like, non-extradition country, where I could continue to direct this stuff via, like, Zoom call, I would have immediately said, wouldn't it be way better if the plot of the episode was, rather than SpongeBob is, like, compulsively, like, Joaquin Phoenix jokering, if it was like, oh, your funny bone was damaged, you need to try to, like, avoid laughing for, like, health reasons, and then just incredibly funny things happen, like a clown funeral, that he was forced to not laugh at. Like, he's entering the most high-stakes try not to laugh challenge ever made. Because the thing is, if he's compulsively laughing, what he's laughing at, whether that is funny or not, is completely immaterial, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really true, because it's not like they didn't have the doctor's voice actor on call. They could have totally had a scene where it's like, hey, please avoid laughing because bad things could happen if you laugh. And then there's like some real tension of like, maybe SpongeBob will die if he laughs at the clown funeral. But instead, what we get is SpongeBob, like, he disturbs the clown funeral and, like, somehow launches himself onto the body of this guy with a disco nose, and he has the disco ball rotating on his own face, and he's laughing, and then the clown in the coffin wakes up and says, hey, you're ruining this living funeral. Oh. And then somehow the disco ball explodes and filters the entire area with, like, sparkly dust. And then the clowns shame SpongeBob by honking horns at him because he ruined their living funeral.
This is it.
I don't know.
I love clowns and no, I mean, I don't.
Sorry, you caught yourself there, did you? I love clowns and anyway.
Well, I mean, I will say this. The last time I went on a plane, I can't remember if it was me going, like, on vacation to, like, a theme park or if I was going to a funeral.
Because they both feel the same way to me.
They're both so much fun!
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm the Joker!
Yeah.
What those things have in common is I will laugh uproariously. Have you seen that video game donkey Bubsy video where he's like made his own Bubsy game where he jumps through the thing, and at the end of the game Bubsy like goes into a coffin, but then the coffin becomes like the car of a roller coaster in hell, and he's like, oh, you thought this game sucked, but it was amazing, I'm in hell, I'm roller coastering through hell. I love that video.
Oh my god. Shout out to Video Game Donkey. What a legend.
Woke up this morning, got some gabagoo. Sorry, Meg laughed in the background because Meg showed me that. Look up Video Game, after you watch this video, of course, look up Video Game Donkey Sopranos PlayStation game.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, just check out Video Game Donkey. Like, his videos are really funny, honestly,
just
most
good.
of the time. Anyway, what I was gonna say is, so SpongeBob's basically, he's become like the biggest social reject of all time in Bikini Bottom. He's a laughing monster. The depiction of him after this point is that he has laughed so much, and again, we get another like Baki narration of like how this laughter disease is affecting his body, and he has no eyes. His mouth has become so huge that it's eclipsed his eyes, and he's become it's horrible. It's actually very bad to look at, is the thing. And SpongeBob, he's like maybe another movie will solve my horrible problem. And playing in a different movie theater, a movie theater we've never seen before, is Weep, the saddest movie of all time. And SpongeBob goes into this theater, and you just see, like, again, another black and white movie, because again, SpongeBob theaters only believe in like true kino from like the fucking early ages of cinema. They're only playing like George Méliès and like fucking like, you know, like films that like, I don't know, something
Old
what
ones.
is it? Jeffrey
Fragrance.
Peck and Greta Garbo. I don't know. I'm trying to like name all the. Listen, look.
It's very
shit,
late where
like,
you are.
SpongeBob-
Spare yourself from this.
I can't think.
I'm nodding.
I won't think.
You can't see me, but
SpongeBob
I'm, like,
can't
nodding.
do
Yes,
it.
Maestro, play us
Yeah.
ecstasy.
Oh god, so SpongeBob can't stop laughing even though it's the saddest movie of all time. He can't do it, and everyone is like mad, and they're like leaving the theater because they're like I can't believe this guy is ruining the saddest movie ever. But then SpongeBob turns and he sees a familiar character design sitting in the other row, and it's his grandma. It's Grandma SpongeBob from Grandma's Cookies, and she's sitting there and she's also laughing at this very sad movie.
Okay.
And so SpongeBob goes up to her and he says, like, Grandma, you also can't laugh either? And she says, oh yeah, everyone in the SquarePants family has their funny bone break. You have to own that laugh. Be proud of it. Come on and laugh at this sappy movie. I find them hilarious. And together they laugh at the very saddest movie ever. And we pan down to Patrick, who is, like, out of popcorn and crying. And he's like, this is a real tragedy. And that's how the episode ends. But putting aside Patrick for a second, because he doesn't matter to this.
Wow.
I think I know what you're going to say, Gus.
I can't help but... It feels incredibly troubling in that, like, there seems to be no solution for a inevitable condition that happens to SpongeBob that is shared by his grandmother, and he is sort of meant to embrace it and accept it. And I don't know, it's just like, it's rough. It's really like there's something about this where it's like the problem isn't solved, and in a way it just like, I don't know, it like it left a really like scary feeling in me.
It reminds me, a little bit of the ending of the movie Raw. Addison is going to leave a comment about that because I know she loves that movie. But it
please,
but it
give us a
also
write-up.
reminds me just SpongeBob turning around to see that his grandma is laughing too. Makes me think of like the Denji and Makima like cinema sequence in Chainsaw Man, where he like turns to her and she's crying as well at the last movie.
Oh god.
Yeah, like it's everything about this is really upsetting. I just think it's one of those things where it's like, you know, it is never too early to like try and seek treatment or care if there's something that runs in your family that you're afraid of catching. Anyway, I don't want to get too dark. Let's just move on.
God
Honestly,
dang.
like,
What were you going to say,
for some
Zoe?
levity, I feel like maybe you could take
God
it in a
dang.
lighter way where, like, I don't know, instead of being, like, a scary disease or something, like, maybe this is, like, just a condition and it's about accepting that it's in your family line and it's not so bad, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't
just like a
know.
sort of
like,
hereditary
kind of like-
congenital birth defect.
Yeah,
that it's okay
it's certainly Yeah, it's certainly not any kind of like Hereditary or Butcher's Block sort of situation going on here. Definitely not. And it's just a funny episode of SpongeBob where he can't stop laughing, and neither can we because it's a
demon.
knee slapper.
I'm just thinking about.
It's the demon.
I just think of SpongeBob's grandma being like, "Oh, this is all normal, SpongeBob. You see, 20 years ago, me and my friends made a deal with Payman. We would give him your body in exchange for the riches that we've enjoyed in life."
Yeah, in the lightest way you can take
the
this
spoils
episode.
of the king.
Yeah.
In the lightest way you can take this episode, it's about accepting familial conditions, and that's okay. And that
Yeah.
you have comfort in family, and that it's okay that's okay. But then the bad
I guess-
side is making a deal with the devil, and that runs in your family.
See, I guess it's one of those things where it's like you would think an episode with this much laughter would actually be funny. And I feel like this whole time, like when I was watching this, I was just like, nothing about this is entertaining. I like,
Those are my
Again,
episodes too, I gotta be honest.
yeah, the thing is, we've had episodes that end a little weird, end a little dark, that deal with the sort of breakdown of reality. But we also have the much vaunted, much hyped up episode that Henry wants to present to us as the last episode of the Spongebob
Yeah,
Boyz.
so I was gonna say
What
it's
the hell is that?
so like Zooey, you were talking about comfort a second ago, and this episode is kind of about comfort. Wait, no, not comfort. What's the other one? Oh yeah, discomfort. That's what this episode is about.
Oh, yeah,
it's-
I remember that one.
It's called.
I've felt that one before.
It's called Pat the Horse.
I'm so glad that there was like a sound at the end of that. I'm so glad. I was so scared. I was terrified.
I'm gonna keep
we
on
pat the
dancing at
horse?
the Pink Patrick Club. Oh boy, this is a bad episode. Let me tell you. So
The omens. The omens were all leading to this.
so
Everything that in your life, viewer, that led you here, it was all for naught. You're the pawn of a Nostradamus prophecy. Is that even how you would say that?
who's to say?
Who cares?
So this
Henry,
episode
go
starts with SpongeBob is in Patrick's rock and is reading Patrick something like in bed, like sitting off the side of Patrick's bed and reading him a bedtime story to help him sleep, while Patrick sits there
Reminds
in
me
his
of
underwear.
That reminds me of a certain scene from a certain audio drama, but I can't put my finger on it.
Really makes you think. But the thing is, I've got to say as well, this reminds me a little bit of like, I don't know if there's an equivalent in America, but there's this one underwear store in Australia called Bonds. And their ads,
James Bond.
James Bond. So they like credit to them. They're very like for the most part like inclusive and body positive in their kind of like ads. People of all different like shapes, of all different races, ages. People with like stuff like vitiligo and stuff like that. Like they go very above and beyond to like represent people in like the big pictures of like models wearing the merchandise in very like candid ways. But me and Meg have always found it kind of funny because I mean these pictures of like two gals just in their like bras and underwears from Bonds, and we always joke like, yeah, all friends just like platonically sit around in their underwear together. Nothing gay about it.
Yeah.
Don't you do that?
I mean, that's really the culture of like 50 years from now when the world is just too warm to not be wearing that
we're
kind
just
of
all
stuff.
in our matching Bonds underwear together. So he's reading Patrick specifically like a picture pop-up book called You Can Be Anything. And he opens it and it's like, you could be a fireman. We've already seen how that turns out, but Patrick is like, I could be a fireman. And he goes through a couple, and what comes up is, you could be a cowboy. And like a cowboy riding a horse pops out, and Patrick's like, oh, that's what I want to be. And SpongeBob is...
Or a spaceman, or a
This sounds
football
like
playing king in space.
This sounds like a Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared episode.
Yeah, but weirder somehow. Because
Yeah.
SpongeBob
no.
goes, oh, that's a good choice. It'd be fun to be a cowboy. And Patrick's like, I'm not talking about the cowboy. I'm talking about this. And like pokes the horse.
No.
And SpongeBob is like, oh, silly Patrick. You can't be a horse.
Here we go.
And Patrick is like, oh, then the book lied. It told me I could be anything. And SpongeBob is like, oh, there, buddy. Let me just, and like puts a quilt made of sand on him, which collapses. And then SpongeBob goes back to his house to go to bed. And then the next morning, SpongeBob gets up and he hears noises outside. And he looks out his window and he sees Patrick is like acting like a horse outside. And let me tell you, my good friends,
my little Patrick, friendship is tragic.
My little Patrick.
I love that. That's been another thing. Zooey has sung the opening hook of My Little Pony for completely different reasons. In these, because she was singing My Little Genie in the last one. See, there are motifs.
I didn't even remember that. I didn't even remember that.
Oh, there are
programmed to do
themes.
it.
There are recurring
There are.
elements.
So
It's all one great big narrative.
So SpongeBob sees
and
him
you're the
acting like a
fool.
horse, and SpongeBob does not delay. He is into this immediately. He runs down and is like, oh my gosh, a horse! And immediately throws like a saddle and reins and like a bit for Patrick to chomp. And immediately is like, oh, I'm gonna ride you to the Krusty Krab. And
I'm big mad about this.
yeah, and he does.
This is unacceptable.
This whole thing has the energy of the like talking toilet from Better Call Saul. It's like weird sexual innuendos all the way down.
I thought you were gonna say the sentient pet toilet from the Patrick Star Show, which
or the toilet
like-
that Patrick shitted to life then death in House Fancy.
why does this happen to
Because the people who make
us?
this show are
not
perverts.
forget the characters, but
Yeah.
us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man, it's a bad day for people who like, oh, you can read fetishes into everything because every day is that.
It's true because that's what
for
what
everyone.
SpongeBob is. At least, right? At least when we put our fetishes into Killjown Triple X, we're blatant about it, and all the actors know they're there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's for
We didn't put
grown-up
Levita the
people.
She-Wolf in there because it was funny, guys. Anyway.
Are you just now realizing this, you losers?
Oh, okay.
I hate the sentence. I'm gonna ride you to the Krusty Krab.
Zooey,
Yes, I
a worse
just
one
hate
is
that
coming up. A
sentence.
worse one is coming up. So he takes
hate
Patrick
that.
all the way there.
I have like both my hands like over my face.
And when he
Under my hand.
when he arrives at the Krusty Krab, a bunch of kids show up and are like, "Oh, can we pet your horse?" And he's like, "Go for
I'm
it!" And they
mad.
all come over and they're like patting the reined up Patrick, who is still acting like a horse. And then Mr. Krabs comes out and is like, "Oh, we could make some money, like selling pony rides to the kiddies." And SpongeBob says, actual line, "But Mr. Krabs, I think Patrick would only let me ride him."
No!
Here,
Where are the people?
Here's the thing. You know what? I just need to put this out here. YouTube, we are just recounting what happens in a SpongeBob episode.
Yes.
We are just verbatim saying the events that occur in chronological order in an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants from Nickelodeon. What were you gonna say, Zoe?
Yeah, what are you gonna say?
Where are the CapCut editors? Where are the SpongeBob Where are the SpongeBob X Patrick CapCut editors to edit this with some like Marina and the Diamonds music beneath it?
That reminds me.
Yeah, exactly.
This will probably go up
Exactly,
on the
do it.
same day as this, but the fact that we've gone with the Chapel Rowan themed thing on this is the perfect excuse to post that AMV Meg made of Susie Green
Oh,
and Karen
that
sitting
thing
in Luck
slaps!
Face
Oh my
Yes,
God,
yeah.
as
Hopef-
another video
hopefully-
we're joining it.
Yeah, hopefully those of you who have already seen that, it's wonderful. It's
It really
breathtaking.
is.
It's amazing.
Anyway, so yeah, you guys have heard about the like kind of infamous Nickelodeon like storyboard jams, right?
Yes.
where
Oh, yeah.
like, you know, they basically do like an exquisite corpse with storyboards, and they write really bizarre, profane, uncomfortable shit onto them. This episode kind of feels that they did that, and some like overworked director picked it up instead of the actual one and was like, "Fuck it, send it to Tom Kenny and Bill Fagerbakke.
Oops.
We go into the animation with this one."
Yeah, it's like, they've already recorded it. Oops, I guess we have to do it
Yeah,
now.
we can't afford
They
that.
shuffled the papers a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, in another really bizarre moment, Squidward
Cook the
shows
books.
up and he's just mocking Patrick, just making a bunch of horse puns, which, you know, imagine I recounted them. It's about as funny as that. So, Squidward shows up, and Mr. Krabs is so fixated on this whole idea of, like, he can make money by letting children ride Patrick pretending to be a horse. He opens SpongeBob's torso like he's a mini fridge and just shoves Squidward inside SpongeBob and closes SpongeBob. And it's like,
That's not how that works.
gone.
Whoa,
He's gone. He's in
Now,
SpongeBob now. Yeah, he's in the sponge
Now, I
in
know
place.
we've already had... I know we've already had SpongeBob be like a safe that contains the formula, but this is not a safe. This is an unsafe.
Yeah.
This is an uncomfortable
This
concept.
is an unheimlich episode.
And unsafe.
Huh.
So, SpongeBob goes into the kitchen to make Krabby Patties. He can hear all of the kids having a good time playing with Patrick outside. Sorry, it's gross. It's just gonna be like this. And fucking while he's in the kitchen, he has got a little patty meat model of himself riding Patrick, and he's like kind of near weeping, using his spatula to lift himself over this little wall he's made out of patty meat. He's fantasizing about his Patrick Pony play while the kids are enjoying it.
I'm mad and sad, and I'm feeling every emotion right
And-
now, and none of them
And at a point,
good.
SpongeBob is just like, I've had all I can stand, and I can't stand it no more. So
he needs to go and get Patrick because this is his life
yeah,
now.
so he goes and
Nothing
does
will ever
it,
be the same for him
and
again.
he goes and releases Patrick, and Patrick just runs off to the wild, just like Mystery, aka Debbie, who does not appear in this episode. She was wrapped up in the Tesco horse meat scandal. Charlie would appreciate that if they were here.
Wow.
So with him gone, Mr. Krabs is like, well, Squidward, you've got to take one for the team. You're going to be the new horse. And Squidward is like, you can't get me to do that.
He's gonna be the what?
Yeah, and Mr. Krabs is like, actually, I'm well within my rights to tell you to do that. Mr. Krabs takes out one of his eyes, his own eyes, not one of Squidward's. Not like, oh, not like, don't defy me. This is your punishment. Rips out one of Squidward's eyes.
Yeah.
An eye for an eye,
Wow.
a horse for a horse.
Yes. But no,
Yeah,
Mr. Krabs pulls out one of his eyes.
A horse, my kingdom for a horse.
And a contract scroll slides out of Mr. Krabs' head, which he takes out and puts in, and he unrolls it and is like, if you see here, it says specifically, I can work you like a horse.
Okay.
It's a little...
Yeah, like, I had an end of this sentence, but I don't think it matters.
Illegal.
It's bad. It's really bad. I don't think Mr. Krabs should be able to control Squidward through like a magical scroll that is like, yeah, you know, it's giving very like Naruto.
Actually,
I don't
Mr.
know.
Squidward, you have to play out any fetish scenario that I imagine.
And Squidward's like, oh, that's right. I did sell my soul to
Yeah,
capitalism.
they're like in a 24/7, like full service, like dom sub relationship. Squidward's got his like day collar O-ring underneath his little khaki shirt.
I mean, I know we've done this joke before, but this is why Squidward is always not wearing pants at the
It's
Krusty
true.
Krab.
It's true. It's part of like Mr. Krabs is like, I like to humiliate you, Mr. Squidward. I like to.
I secretly pay you more than SpongeBob, but this is the reason.
this is awful, and it's gonna get worse. So he like
Yeah.
he bridles up Squidward, and while SpongeBob
Oh,
goes off to
God.
find Patrick, who has adopted like a mane of kelp and a kelp tail. Don't know how it's attached to him. Don't ask.
Beautiful.
No,
Sorry,
I didn't.
sorry, that got
No
me.
one did.
Beautiful in the background.
The sun, beautiful. The kelp, beautiful.
So he brings Patrick back, and there, Mr. Krabs
back,
is
so.
like, oh, I don't even need Patrick because Squidward is a more like a high profile, like classier horse anyway. And Squidward goes, yeah,
I'm
I'm a real stud.
I'm
Okay.
gonna die, and it won't be anyone's fault. It's just gonna happen.
I'll get you, and it'll look like a bloody accident.
That's just inevitable, really. It's just, I just thought of like announcing it. I was reminded.
I worry that
of it.
Mr. Krabs is
like
having
this.
a bloody accident in his fucking work uniform doing all
Oh
of
my God.
this.
Oh, I don't know if it's bloody, but there's certainly other fluids involved.
It's red down there. But no, it's so he does that, and then I swear
Good
I'm not
grief.
joking. Like genuinely, you can go and watch the episode. Like
I don't want to.
he's
I'm holding on.
he's like, oh, you know,
Holding on for dear
like
life.
your horse is fit for the glue factory. It's like, guys, why are we playing along to this extent? These are people that you know
What?
acting like horses. These are not horses. But Mr. Krabs is like, oh,
No, they're animals now. That's their place
According
in
to
this
the
world.
contract.
yes, exactly. According to
The contract
the
says so.
BDSM contract. But Mr.
Mr. Squidward, I don't make love. I fuck hard.
I beach little squids who remind me of the crack whore, my mother. Anyway,
Jeez.
but
Wow.
no, he's like showing off the different bits of Squidward. He's like, oh, check out these hocks, and he lifts up one of Squidward's feet, and you can see that he's hammered horseshoes to it, and one of the nails is loose, so he hammers it in.
This is fucking hardcore.
Yeah, it is.
What
It
the
is.
hell?
This is some
Well, yeah.
hardcore
Wow.
like kink
Man,
play going on
it's-
here.
Damn.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing that Squidward already lost his toenails many years ago, and then I turn to the camera and do a very Roman Reigns coded wink
Yeah.
to the audience.
Gus, what are you doing, buddy? Don't wink. Anyway, so
Squidward is
but he's like,
is a
look at the
sad
side.
sack of suffering
and
succotash.
then Mr. Krabs says, and you don't even want me to talk about the loins. And it's like, you're right, Eugene. I
No,
don't want
I
you to talk
don't!
about Squidward's
The
loins in this 11-minute episode of a children's TV program.
The loins.
I mean, we-
The loins.
Here's the thing. We don't have time in just 11 minutes to describe everything about the loins of Squidward tentacles.
No. No.
We literally, like, they should have sent a poet from the heavens.
So, what this terminates in, I can't remember why they do it, what the terms are, what is at hazard, what is to be won here, but they decide to see who has the better horse. But Mr. Krabs calls the thing pony rides, by the way. So this is really engaging with the like pony play terminology. Oh joy! And they ride
Oh,
Squidward and
God.
Patrick all the way to the finish line, and
No, not the finish
yeah,
line.
no, I think
You can't say that.
I think
You can't say that sentence.
Mr. Krabs probably finished long before they got to the line. He's having
You
I'm
can't say that.
I'm gonna disappear
You
from this
can't.
life. I'm going somewhere else.
You can see
I'll
why
never
I
be
wanted
back.
to leave this one to the end. This is like Squid Baby Part 2, which is just,
Man,
you know,
what a finish.
yeah, it's like we're not
Fuck
gonna
you.
slip in a
Oh.
little bit. We're gonna just the whole episode is just we're going to explore every nook and cranny, every vertice and indice of this. Mr. Krabs wins with Squidward, I think. I think it was all kind of a blur at this point. And then Patrick is like, oh, I'm bored of being a horse anyway. First lines he's said in this episode since the first scene, he has been 100% committed outside of that.
I'll give him that.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no one
Wow.
can say that Patrick does not commit to the bit. Patrick will be like, oh, I want to be a tour guide this
literal bit.
episode. I'm going to fucking... Yeah, literally. He was
horsey.
quite literally champing at the bit in this episode. But he's like, oh, being a horse
bit
is
and
boring
bridle.
to me now anyway. I want to be a crab. And he's got crab arms now. And he runs off. And it cuts to Mr. Krabs, who has no arms. Like, Patrick has ripped them off and is wearing them. But you know what? I personally think this episode ending with Mr. Krabs no longer having the use of his arms is a net good to the community of Bikini Bottom.
I also feel like this was all smoke and mirrors so that Patrick could, in a like very sentient Patrick is writing the episode kind of way, steal Mr. Krabs' arms and power and just use all this other like horse stuff as like subterfuge to get to that goal.
He was Ison. What was that?
I raised my arms like in a shrug, like a what? And I looked at both of your profile pictures, and I'm like, wait, they can't see me. I'm like, what? I'm like gesturing, like squinting, and I'm like making a face. I'm like, they can't see me. They can't see me.
I thought what you were going to say, Zoe, is I looked at your guys' profile pictures and thought, who even are these guys anymore? I felt like I know them, but now I don't.
Are we just strangers here? Are we just...
I don't know.
Are we just lone cowboys?
This episode has been the Magnus Archive style ritual of the unknowing.
Don't even tie in the Magnus
I need to
Archives
listen to
with
the
this.
rest of that show.
You can't do that.
Actually, I
can't
can,
do a lot
because
of
you
things
can listen
anymore.
to Johnny Sims from the Magnus Archives as both a recurring character in Kill Jam Triple X and a mad, like, Lovecraftian forest cannibal in the Kingmaker histories.
You can't
I
promote those shows
promise
after
you,
what we just went through.
Yeah, I promise you it'll be a palate cleanser from the horrors that we have just taken into our brains, bodies, and minds.
Everyone's gone
and
by now.
I
Left.
Kill Jam
Who are you
Triple X
talking
is
to?
a
There's no one here.
significantly less sexual show than your average episode of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Wise.
if you're still here, put a comment down at the bottom of this video saying that I'm living proof. Because that'll prove that you made it through all of this.
Just end it there. I'm living,
Living
proof. Of what? Let the other
proof.
commenters
It
try to
actually
decide.
works. Oh.
I'm gonna go.
This has been SpongeBob Boys. Are you not entertained?
And you weren't ready!
Let me
And
out!
you were never gonna be ready.